You are listening to a Dynamicworksproductions podcast. This show is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio Network, and many, many more podcast services around the world. You can find all our content, music, videos, books, podcasts, and more on our website, www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Have questions, comments, or concerns for us? Head on over to the social tab on www.dynamicworksproductions.com if you'd like to talk to us. Now, on with the show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fork in Your Ear podcast. I'm your host, as always, author, podcaster, and gamer, Tim, K.A. Trotter. Joining me is I don't have like a spirit animal for you. What's a spirit animal for you?
Probably a trash panda at this point.
Okay. And then joining me, as always, the one, the only, the trashiest of pandas, Nate Fu.
How's it going tonight?
Apart from the 30-minute snags of recording issues that was all on my end for once, it's fine. I'm a little tired, and the day didn't go quite as planned, but salvaged a decent day out of it. And I'm drinking heavily. So...
Oh no. Well, I'm not going to try to keep up with you tonight. I'm actually just finished a Rockstar energy drink and popped open my first beer for the night.
I had a Rockstar energy drink ready for today because I slept like shit. I got like fucking 4 hours today. Fucking abysmal.
Yeah, that is crap.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, especially on a Saturday. Oof. You know, and I did have to get up early because it was the Starfighter game with the old co-host
Lister 113.
Yeah, but then got up and his internet was out, and then it's like, okay, well, we'll wait a bit, and he's like, don't bother, the power's out now too. And I'm like, okay, cool, well, fair enough. I'm gonna try to go back to bed, even though I just ate breakfast. But so it goes.
That old Chuck E. Cheese commercial. Some days you just can't win.
Oh my god, that like tugs, like cockles in the back of my mind. Not because I need, not because I remember it particularly well, but because I like don't remember it, but I remember it as you're saying it. Like it was on an ad and I subconsciously logged that away and that information didn't get deleted, which is horrifying.
The power of advertising.
Well, that's true. It's very true. Yeah, did we have anything off the top of our head, or did we want to try to get the ship back on track? And I've got the ring at the ready. We're ready to go.
Let's go with the mercy of the ring.
Right, let's go with the mercy of the ring. I've got actually threw some topics in there before we recorded. All right. And that is
cross-reference with Discord.
Yeah. I can't make that any bigger. Oh, that's video games. Okay, cool. Fucking terrible name conventions. Video games, man. Well, probably what's more interesting to you is I have played several sessions. I'm not saying a ton of hours. I'm saying several sessions, very specifically, of Halo Infinite.
And fill it.
Well, I think a better question would be asked, what do you want to know? Since I feel like you have granted me your trust.
I'm trying to know as little as possible. I guess, does it hold up?
I think so.
Right?
I
Is
think
it
it's
okay?
I think it's going to be a wrecking ball in the multiplayer department. Multiplayer.
I mean, having played, what is it, the Splitgate clone, which
Oh yeah,
you had previously said is the
closest you're going to get to Halo if you're on PlayStation,
right?
Which is true, and still is true.
Still is true. Okay.
I play it weekly with my boys on PlayStation. So
the new Halo Infinite isn't holding up to that standard?
So, I mean, here's the thing. So Halo Infinite does, I think, arena shooting, which is what Halo is as a multiplayer game, better than anybody out there presently.
Okay.
I'm not going to discount the fact that Splitgate has a hell of a hook with Halo guns and portals. Because that's fun in its own right. But Infinite has a granularity to its combat that is, in my opinion, what I think of when I think of combat in other Halo games.
Okay.
And also for you, Natefu, which is going to come up in live topics here, but my friend Dan, we had a boys' night last night, and he brought his Xbox over, his Xbox One VCR edition.
Right.
And since it's Halo Infinite's actually open to everybody, by the way, right now. I don't know if you knew that. He downloaded it and we played.
Oh wait, I thought it was invite only still.
They changed it on Thursday at the 11th hour.
Oh, is this extended to? Well, it's over now, right?
No, it goes through Sunday. So since
is this also available for PC, Xbox?
I don't know on that one. On Xbox is ready to go. But speaking of VCR Xbox, runs pretty fucking great. Not gonna lie, I've seen it firsthand. Don't need a Digital Foundry thing on it. The graphics are rock solid. Obviously, they're not going to be the same as a high-end PC or Series X, but they're a good word to use, since obviously the hardware power dwarf is pretty substantial. It's not a Switch port.
Right. What would you say it's running frames-wise, 30 or 60?
I would say it varies on the map, is what I'm going to tell you, honestly, because, it was running over here on this monitor that I'm using right now, and Daniel had his Xbox, and most of the time, it was pretty fucking solid. And then some of the time, particularly when we were doing big team battle, it got a little chunky and framey. Particularly when there was a lot of physics shit on the screen, which is to be expected, because something that you'll come to find in Halo Infinite sooner rather than later is it goes back to that granularity of the physics of stuff. So when we launched in a big team,
this was old Destiny behind the church in the EDZ doing that one public event, and it was just arc everywhere. Like it crippled everyone, even the high-end PCs that are running 150 frames plus a second go behind that church there and suddenly find themselves at like 28. So, and yeah, it was just so many sprites and dust particles. And
so something that I've talked about in the past on Halo Infinite from just data that's been flying out there, but I was able to experience, because when we launched into big team battle on, I forget the name of the map, but it's basically like a big team version of Valhalla or Blood Gulch, if you remember those maps from the old Halo games.
Uh-huh.
Um, so like I was fucking around with the vehicles. First off, what I was able to play, I've seen some people play around with, I guess, the Hornet, but I wasn't able to acquire one in the chaos that was online multiplayer. So I've played with the Warthog. Warthog's great, feels fantastic, feels like the Warthog, feels like it should.
Okay.
Played with the Mongoose. Mongoose does not feel good. Mongoose does not feel like Mongoose. They need to fix the Mongoose. Mongoose is broken. Okay. Ghost.
In what way?
So Mongoose is always a little floaty and a little squirrely and a little flippy. This bitch, when you hit the brake, the front, it's like riding a bicycle downhill and you only have front wheel brake. You flip over the fucking Mongoose. And then when you hit the e-brake, because apparently there's an e-brake now on the Mongoose, it's a dead stop. Not a slide stop. It's a dead stop, which feels awful.
You should at least be able to power slide that thing.
Yeah, so they need to fix whatever's going on with that before that's ready for prime time. And maybe they already know about that. Hard to say. Ghost, my personal favorite. Ghost is back to looking like how it did in Halo 3, which is good in my opinion, aesthetically. The wings on the T break off a little too easy for my taste. Ghost feels like Ghost. Ghost also now has a lot of extra strafing movement, wind boosting. And it always had some, but now it has a lot more. And then going back to the sound design, which was really weird, because ghosts have always sounded a certain particular way.
Sure.
The laser fire on the Ghost sounds like shit. They need to fix that. I don't know what's going on with some of the Covenant weapons and stuff sounding like ass. The boost, however, noise is completely brand new. And at first I was like, wait a minute. That doesn't sound like the boost should sound. But then as I played, I was like, but it does actually, for the first time in the history of Halo, sound like what I would expect a ghosting sound to make. So as the other games, it was like a, I don't know, this is going to sound terrible, like a bleed, like laser thing. Now it like deadens the sound around you when you boost and everything goes quieter. And there's like this hushing sound that comes out now, which sounds totally different, but at least in this respect of the sound effect, it sounds awesome.
Well, if anyone of our audience rides sport bikes, that is very accurate.
Yeah.
When you start getting up to speed,
you
don't hear a lot.
Well, it's just interesting because, before it was always like Ghost is rather loud. Now it's not. So you can like sneak up with this motherfucker and play around. So going back to the granularity, the very first thing I did when I got to that big T map, because this is the first time I've interacted with infinite vehicles. Since last weekend, I was playing around in arena with people and bots. I threw a grenade and only the front two tires of the Mongoose blew off, which was comical because you could still get on the fucking Mongoose.
Right.
And it works like a piece of shit. I mean, more so. Like you would expect it to be a piece of shit because you blew off the fucking front tires.
Right. I think that's more for, sticking a broom handle in someone's front tire kind of thing.
Yeah.
Get them while they're going and take off their front tires and watch them flip over the handlebars.
Yeah. The Warthog, I had the engine hood fly off for the first time ever in a Halo game, which was wild. Because not only did it fly off, but like all the shit that falls off on the vehicles are super physics based. So like the hood like flew off, but half of it was still like you know, like any car where there's like 2 points where the hinge of the hood is attached. Like
Mhm.
only one of it was broken, so it like flew up while I was driving, like smashed into the windshield, then flipped around until it eventually broke off. And I was like, all right, that's some next gen shit happening there with the coding of what's happening here. I like that. That's cool. Thank you very much. Um yeah. Um I guess going back to more big team battle, since that's what I did last night. The flags are glowing neon now, which is simultaneously good and bad.
Right.
Um, they have made
Makes them easy to spot on out on the field.
yeah, very true. Um, you cannot drive a vehicle if you have a flag, which might be a controversial choice because I feel like in various Halos, like sometimes they've let you done it and sometimes they haven't. Um,
Or at least be a passenger in a vehicle.
yeah, you can be a passenger still, but
With the flag?
yes, but you can't.
I think that's a fair compromise.
Yeah, but if I'm in a hurry and the only thing that's there is a mongoose or a ghost, and I'm just
Mhm.
fucked.
Mhm.
Not great. Uh can confirm uh the
Well, you can still ride on the bump on the mongoose, right?
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
you can still have 2 people on the mongoose. Um yeah. So what else do you want to know? Cuz like I feel like your questions would be more important than me just prattling on forever about Halo, which I could totally do.
Well, and again, there's a reason I still play Destiny to this day, even through all of its ups and downs. Is Bungie games starting with Halo have always had a feel,
Yeah.
and 343 when they took over managed to somehow preserve that, even when they added the gimmicks to it. Feel was still there,
Well,
still
you know
there.
why, right? So
Yeah.
until Halo Infinite, they've still been
Hmm.
using the original Halo 1 Blam engine. All
Slipstream or whatever they call it.
yeah, they're using slip
Space.
space. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's what they go into canonically when they go
Yes.
into warp in Halo. And so that was always a big concern going into Infinite is like, well, this is for the first time ever in Halo a brand new engine from the ground up,
Ooh.
built
Okay.
specifically for Halo.
Okay.
And so one of the concerns was like, well, is this going to feel like old Halo or is this going to feel like some Call of Duty garbage thing or something? Like,
Right.
how is it going to
That
feel?
is my biggest concern.
So I can say unequivocally, it feels like Halo and it feels
Okay.
fucking great. There are some really odd design choices. The biggest one that's sticking out to me, which makes zero sense to me whatsoever, is the grenade switching. So in past Halos, you could have a gaggle of grenades and you'd
Hmm.
switch to them, just cycle through them with one button. Now,
Sure.
very weirdly, it's like left on the D-pad and then there's like a little itty bitty menu in the corner and then you cycle through them like with your D-pad, which is
Okay.
I can see that working
Yeah.
great in single player. In the heat of multiplayer, not so much. It's like I just want the spike grenade. I just want the spike grenade. I just want the spike grenade. Fuck you. That's not the spike grenade. Like that's
Right.
basically the experience with that.
I think it leaves more flexibility for future, right? If they start adding more grenade types or
Well, it's
whatnot.
funny you mention that because there is a new grenade type. So
Hmm.
they have the dynamo, like dynamo grenade, and it's like this arcing electric Palpatine thing. And this is not to be confused with the I forget what it was called from Halo 3, but there was like a big blue ball and it was like a big old EMP thing and it would shock everything.
Right, the plasma grenade,
No, not the plasma grenade. That's the
the
basic
one you would stick to people's heads.
yeah, that's the sticky grenade.
Yeah,
Remember
okay.
there's an equipment in Halo 3, and there's like a big old blue ball with an X on it, and you'd throw it out and it would
No, I
like
don't remember.
disable vehicles and then pop people's shields.
Yeah, I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
it was a thing. It was
Okay.
handled as an equipment item, not a grenade. So
Gotcha.
this
I'm getting a year too early when I try to launch this damn thing.
say again.
I downloaded the Halo Infinite multiplayer, and it says you're too early.
Are you on? What are you on?
Xbox.
Okay, so there is an extra hoop you have to jump through.
Okay.
So what you need to do is you need to go to the Xbox Insider Hub, and then inside there, there
Okay.
is the Halo Infinite Technical Flight.
Where is Insider?
Yeah, it's a little convoluted, but
Sure.
whatever.
Okay. You were saying?
Yeah, so now there's this Dymo grenade, and it's this weird little cylinder grenade, and you throw it, and whatever's within its radius gets palpatined, pretty much to
Okay.
death. They are they target a single enemy, so they're not good in groups. But they pop your shields and then they start eating away at your health real fast. So
Interesting.
they're
Okay.
oh fuck, back up, oh fuck, back up, fuck, back up, back up,
Right. They're
back
in
up.
area control.
Yeah, very much area control, but only against one person. I'm sure there's probably an AI or an algorithm or whatever that's like, oh, this is closest. You get fucked.
Mhm.
Not the buddy behind you or whatever. So that's interesting. The a big change to the grenades is all of them have a specific like grenade trail to them now. That not only shows you when it's in the air, that you can identify by color which type of grenade it is.
Oh, that's
But
cool.
B, like on the bounces, on like the physics and stuff, because if you remember, there was some crazy ass grenade physics in the old Halo games, and they are very much
Yeah.
intact here. Now this helps put your predict in when you throw it. So it's like, okay, I'm throwing it here. Oh, I see the trail jerked here. Okay, I should aim a little higher. But then also lets you or an opponent go, oh, that thing got banked from behind me. I'm going to turn around
Mhm.
because that's where that grenade came from.
And do you still get the grenade flyover?
Grenade flyover, like a little indicator?
A little waypoint. Yeah.
Maybe? I
Okay.
don't. I can't say for certain. I would have to look at my own stream or some footage to
You know how most
see
games
that.
do
Yeah,
that. You'll see the
I would
little grenade in 2 meters, and it.
I would guess so. I'm not 100% on that.
Okay.
So another huge change is you have personalized AI, which is a very big change to multiplayer. So how they've done it is, so in your loadout for your customizable Spartan is you have a selection of different AIs and they've got different personalities and shit. And I chose one that was like a mix between GLaDOS from Portal and
Yes, of course you did.
Failsafe from Destiny.
Le snark is heavy,
Yeah,
right?
she's hilariously vapid.
Nice.
Like when you're flying through the air with a successful grapple shot, and I don't know how the AI knows when it's successful or not, and she'll just be like, "Fly, you beautiful Spartan," you know. Or like when you throw a grenade, which I think it's literally a Portal line. Like you throw a grenade and she's like, deploying surprise. Yeah, she's awesome. I love it. But
Nice.
the AI serves several functions in multiplayer at any rate. So you can hit down on the D-pad and you get a little like golden spherical pulse. And what that does is that highlights where the weapon drops are in front of you, like on the map, like
Okay.
through the walls. And more importantly, if it's spawned yet and when it is going to spawn. So you can
Okay.
pulse, and if you're in distance, you can be like, okay, this sniper is not up for another 20 seconds. I'm going to go do something else for 20 seconds. Go back,
Right.
turn it. Okay, sniper's up. I can see it's there. And then, because the pulse happens very briefly, it's only on screen for like a couple of seconds. You can
Sure.
be like, okay, cool. The sniper's over there. Oh, sniper just got taken. I'm maybe going to double back because I just see that that's no longer there from the pulse.
Right. And it doesn't show you enemies or anything.
No,
It just shows
it does
you
not show you enemies.
objectives.
That's correct. There is a oh god, what is it called? Every fucking first person shooter's got this thing now. It's got a ping system. And what I really like about the ping system over other games' ping system is it stickies onto the map in like a 3D way, but then the name of the location like comes out of the ping and like floats towards you like very quickly. So it's like you ping it and it's like what fucking location? Oh, there's the words. It's this place. Which I like personally, because something I get called out for in something like Rainbow Six Siege, where callouts are everything. I am ass. I'm like, it's the corridor with the left with the guy. There's a guy there, and it's bad.
Fair.
You know, this I can be like, oh, okay, it's a northwest corridor in blah 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 part of the map. Whatever. It's all properly named. So that's pretty nice. Another big thing, and this is a spin from what they attempted to do in Halo 4, but it didn't feel quite right, while maintaining like the kind of like the weapons are here kind of feel from the old Halos. So this is a change worldwide, which I think actually really works for the arena shooter. So they basically have weapon wall boxes, so to speak, like a little cupboards. And that's where every weapon in all of the maps, like they all spawn from like that location. So it's not like there's one general location, like they're scattered throughout the map, but it's like, okay, this is a weapon spawn point. I can know that whatever game mode I'm playing, there's going to be a weapon at this specific point because it's like a in-world
Right. It's part of the map, it's not a spawn.
Well, it's like both. It's like both. It's part of the world, but it's also part of the spawn system. Speaking of the spawn system, vehicles now get fucking dropped in via Pelican, which is wild looking because you're like, huh, there's a fucking Pelican. You know?
But again, it lets the other team know as well. You can just look up and see the Pelican and okay, it's a drop instead of having some other blip or bling in your ear that you might miss.
Another big change that has to do with also the AI and just playing as well is there's a lot of battle chatter now, which wasn't in previous Halos. And also there's stuff that happens with your AI, like your AI. So for example, in Big Team Battle, there was a mode we were playing called Disintegration or something. That was basically Big Team Battle teams, but it centered around 3 points in the map where power weapons were dropping. And so in that instance, your AI is like, power weapon spawning in 30 seconds, you know, kind of thing. And it's like, okay. Another thing, which I am pleased to say is back in Halo, which was always something I really loved about the old Bungie Halos. There's like map shit specific to like the map that's like a thing you can interact with that does something in the map.
Oh, okay.
So in Big Team Battle, there's literally 2 like loot caves in the middle of the map on either side of the bases. But to get in them, your AI has to pop out, and unfortunately, it does feel like the ghost in Destiny, and do a little hacky thing, and you have to stay in range of it for a split second in a multiplayer game, which is kind of cute.
Right.
And then when you get inside, there's like all kinds of cool weapons and stuff. But then usually also like a perch that people who didn't hack the door, like they can't get through the door once you've gone through it, like it locks. But your teammates can like let you in, like come back to the door and it'll open, so they don't have to hack them. So me and Daniel, we went into this loot cave, and we got up in this perch because he had a sniper rifle there and had good overwatch on the rest of the map. But because it was like an interactable thingamajiggy in the map, like people couldn't hack it after a certain time after you hacked it, and then B, nobody could get up to that perch unless they had a grapple shot, which is obviously, Halo's got grappling hooks.
Right.
And how the F does that work in multiplayer? Is it like Titanfall? As somebody who's played both Titanfall 1 and 2, and in general loves swinging and grappling hooks, no, it doesn't feel like any grappling hook in any other previous first-person shooting game I can think of.
Not even like the Doom grapple?
Does not feel like the Doom grapple. Does not feel like the Titanfall grapple. It, so it's several things. So,
I'm sensing a tone that you don't really care for.
No. I love it.
Okay.
It was not an instant love thing, though. It was oh, yes, I got the fucking grapple. Yeah, let's go. I was like, oh, this is not like any previous grapple hook in Doom or Titanfall. Because, like, Titanfall, it's super fast. Like, the distance is fucking insane on it. It gives you momentum, and it's infinite. The grapple in Doom, which is called the meat hook, works in reverse in it that it grapples you to the thing, not the other way around. So the grapple is several things. Number one, it's a equipment item. So you pick it up and it has limited uses. So in maps, it seems very smart to me because it's an equipment item on the map that you can find. And then per map, it has a different number of uses, obviously tuned to that map balance. So for example, when I was in Big Team Battle, I had 7 shots with the thing before it expires and it's dead. Versus an arena, I had like 3 or 4, depending on the map.
Okay.
Number 2 is it is simultaneously a yoinker and a flying through the air like Spider-Man, but then also it's a pull you to something, and it's super situational as to what it contexts to. So you can use it to yoink weapons away from people. Like if you've got an opponent in front of you and he's running for the fucking like rocket launcher or something, you can like grapple shot.
You could grapple yoink it.
Grapple yoink it and then shoot him in the back with the rocket. Vehicles, particularly moving vehicles, and there's a lot of hilarious shit on Reddit right now on this. I encourage you to check out. Grappling vehicles that are moving, you are fucking along for the ride. Good fucking luck and hang the fuck on, bitch. I watched one on this big team battle map where somebody grappled a warthog and they just come out from behind a rock, and then they got flung, and because it's real in time, I guess, when something is moving is a lot slower, they're just flying through the air as the warthog's driving, and then he whips around the corner, and then he hits the corner with the cord, and then whips back into the opponent or into the other team's warthog, and then crashes into the warthog and dies. Like it was like It's hilarious. So the other thing that's to know about the grapple shot is you can fire it very quickly, and if you're very skilled, you can get momentum and swing through the air like Spider-Man. But the thing that's a little weird, or at least the thing that I observe, is so when you fire the grapple shot, there's like half a nanosecond for you to move your left directional stick, which will then determine the arc in which you are swinging towards your grapple point. So rather than, oh, I grapple this and whatever the physics is doing, the physics is doing. So in Halo, you have some half-second minute chance to control the arc in a way that would benefit you. So in training, because you can go into training at least in this preview with bots, you know, you can look at a wall in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do nothing, you're going to get pulled to this wall. But if you shoot it at the wall and you jack your stick
With
to
a
the
little
right,
English,
you're going to swing
right.
a little bit to the right in an arc. And I'm like, okay. So there's a lot of like skill that could potentially be involved.
Okay.
Which is interesting because that puts the skill ceiling very high in comparison to Titanfall, where it's like infinite grapples, the range on it's ridiculous, and then whatever you hit, you're gonna slide, clamber, or fucking wall run on. You know,
Right.
so you don't have,
but it's easy enough to use. It's hard to master, kind of thing.
Yes. And then the other thing, which was quite surprising to me, and I don't know if that's something that maybe they'll need to tune per map or not, but the range on the thing, super short. It is not a, it's
Good.
not a, you're on the ground and it's like, yeah, I'm going to get up to that mountain.
Right. You somehow have, 2 miles of horde on your person.
Yeah, it's super short. And then thankfully, since it is an equipment, if it misses connecting with something, it doesn't count as a use of the grapple, which is nice.
Okay.
So yeah, the grapple is a big thing. I think it's going to be super great in campaign for sure. Multiplayer, it is a high skill item for sure, which I kind of think it should be, honestly. Let's see what else. ADSing is not proper ADSing, which in my opinion is good for Halo. Halo 5 introduced real ADSing for the first time in the series.
Right.
And it didn't break the feel of Halo.
Right. Prior, it was just shouldering, basically.
Yeah, or like at least like a zoom on a weapon that had
like
a zoom, like the sniper or something. In Halo 5 and stuff, you had like a, for example, with the assault rifle, which doesn't have any zoom, you had like a minor zoom with that, and it's was actual. The way I'd akin it to is Halo is Halo. It doesn't have ADSing. Halo 5 has ADSing that is very similar to Destiny's, in that it is real ADSing, but it still feels like Halo, but then it also feels like Destiny, and Halo shouldn't necessarily feel like Destiny, if that makes any sense. Even though, obviously, they are very much cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, I'm watching some gameplay footage now, and it's, this looks pretty fluid. I'm watching someone that's pretty adept with the grapple, just using it.
Oh yeah, I've seen it with some people, and people are just fucking ridiculous with it. It's pretty fantastic, actually. Something else that I'd seen, certainly in the trailers and stuff for the game, but it's something you have to experience, is so I've actually been replaying the Halo games with Daniel because he hasn't actually played them all. And Halo's very good, but Halo's also old at this point, and it's like, well, there's no sprint. Like
that was interesting. Someone threw a grenade, and it actually blew a weapon towards the player.
Oh yeah, so that's the thing, and you can see that in the E3 trailer for multiplayer as well. Somebody uses that to blow a Covenant energy sword into somebody's hand. So yeah, you can do that now. So all the guns, even though they appear on these little box rack things, on the map. You could blow that out of that thing and maybe get it towards you if the explosion's correct.
Right.
Fun fact, when I was playing with Daniel, Daniel said that the sound effect for the human grenade was the closest he's ever heard in a video game to a human grenade actually sounding like a human grenade going off. And since he's in the Air Force, I'm going to go with cool. That sound, if that's what you're saying, I'm going to say, yep, good.
Yeah, I'm not going to get close enough to grenades to find that
I don't
out.
need to know that.
Nope, you were wrong.
Yeah, for sure. So going back to the ADS thing, so you do not have true ADS in Halo Infinite, which is a good thing in my opinion.
Except on the sniper, right? Sniper still scopes in?
Yes. So what you do have, and it is tied to the left trigger by default, which you can of course change in settings, is you do have a ADS zoom-like thing on any weapon, but it does not improve your aim. And that I think is a very interesting distinction to make about Halo Infinite.
Right, it doesn't improve your cone, it just gives you better vision.
Yeah, so again, like an example, if we're comparing 5, with the assault rifle, which had a proper ADS and had like a weird holographic thing. So it still zooms forward on the gun in Halo Infinite, but it's not a improvement to your shooting skill whatsoever.
Right, it looks like it just kind of slows your reticle so you can be a little more accurate.
No, it just zooms the camera in to the reticle so that you can see better, not aim better. And that's a very, I think, important distinction.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Clamber is back. And it's not intrusive and it feels great.
I think every game needs some sort of clamber mechanic.
100% agree. 100% agree.
Nothing worse than trying to engage in a fight and you're literally humping a wall.
Yeah. There is sprint. Sprint is back in Halo Infinite, which has been a controversial thing since they added it in Halo 5. Because some people have argued that it broke the way Halo plays, because if you can immediately go faster at any time, that changes your map design logic, and that changes how you would fundamentally play if you can at any time basically have a burst of speed.
Okay.
So there is sprint. However, people have been super nerds about this, and they have scientifically proven that in whatever internal game logic this thing uses, if your base speed is 5, it only improves it by 2. So it's not a huge bump to the degree of like, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog and I gotta go fast now.
Right.
Which
you're not skating maps.
Correct. And then that leads me to something which I don't know if it's going to change for release, and people are very mixed on this, and I even find myself very mixed on this. So there is a slide.
Yeah, I see it a couple of times here.
It's a weird slide.
It's like a knee slide.
It's a knee slide for sure, but it's also seems very situationally physics based, because sometimes I'll hit it and it feels like, oh, this is just a terrible slide. Why is this even in the game? And then other times it's like, oh, I got like some extra momentum out of that, and then it's like, okay, was that because I was going down a ramp, and then like the gravity, was that happening there, or was that because I grapple shot to sprinting to sliding? Like, was it the cumulative momentum of all that? Does that affect how that slides? So that I think is going to be probably the most controversial of the moves in Infinite, because you don't have anything crazy like you do have in Halo 5 with a fucking Spartan charge, cough cough, Titan charge, You know, you don't have any wings of light, which I don't even know what it's called in Halo, but you know, Warlocks have it in Destiny. You don't have any ground pounds. You don't have any crazy things like you had in 5, which
Right.
I think, for the record, having those abilities felt great in campaign, um, but made
Too hard to balance in PvP.
very. It's not that they were hard to balance in PvP, because a lot of people would argue that Halo 5's PvP was the best part of Halo 5. It's that it takes it out of the arena shooter that Halo should be and puts it into the ultra
Hero.
skill ceiling thing of like Titanfall and you
Right.
know, that kind of stuff, which a lot of people didn't like, myself included. So those are the movement options you have. Yeah. There and then the other thing, which has been much ballyhooed about, is there is AI bots for the first time ever in a Halo game. And let me tell you, they are something. That's for sure. They are very different than any, you know,
They're actually going to improve your gameplay.
yeah. Well, and you know, the other thing too is, you know, you can get in, you know, on a map and get warm with some bots before getting sweaty. And I think
Sure.
that's going to be really important. And the other thing that's really important is they're pretty fucking human like. Gotta say, a lot of people have been saying this online, but I'm gonna say it too. You know, I played a lot of bots thinking back to GoldenEye and Perfect Dark and
Unreal Tournament.
Unreal Tournament,
Yeah.
Quake Arena, you know, and those were fine, you know, but like most things, there's
But
a certain
they were
point where it
bots,
was like,
right? They
okay,
were either hella dumb or they never missed a shot.
yeah. So
But they kind of ran on rails. They didn't do a whole lot of evading because their skill was, if I see you, I'm going to hit you every time, or I'm just going to walk out in the open and let you kill me.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so the bots are really interesting. So they have 4 settings, or AI settings, so to speak. There's
Mm-hmm.
Recruit, Marine, ODST, and then of course Spartan at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Recruits are definitely more like Unreal Tournament bots and stuff like that, and that's fine. That's probably how they should be. Marine, they're a little bit like that, but then they also do like some dumb human shit. Um, like wacky grenade bounces and some other stuff. It's ODST and Spartan where you start to see stuff that's like, oh, I've legitimately not seen this in bots in a video game with first-person shooters before. Like, so the technical playtest is a little bit funny in that you can only matchmake with people like for 2 hours, every 2 hours alternating,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can stress test the servers. But in the other 2 hours, you're free to play with the bots. And so they have a training mode where you can set up a map and then just, you know, it reminds me of Smash Brothers, honestly, where it's like you can drop yourself in, you can drop however many AI friendlies or opponents you want, and then whatever weapons, whatever modifiers you want, you know, unlimited ammo, unlimited grapple, whatever the fuck you want, right? And
Right.
so I was just real curious, and so I would drop in 1v1 against the Spartan AI. And it was fascinating because I was playing on.
Now, can you team up?
Now, what do you mean?
When you can't matchmake with in PvP, when you can play against bots, can you still team up with a buddy? Like, can you and I hop in right now and play bots?
Flight. We
Okay.
we tried that last night.
Okay.
So sorry.
Gonna say I know what we're doing after we're done with the episode.
Well, you can get a hold of the schedule. I don't know what the schedule is moving into tomorrow, but
It looked like it was same as it's been, like 10 to 2 and then 5 to 9 or something like that.
yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. So but yeah, no. So the Spartan AI would do some really fucking wild shit. So something that they were 343 was always talking about in that they're like, we're not a fan of AI that's like they're bullet sponges and they have perfect aim. They're like, that's not
Mhm.
what we want to do. And so what I found in fighting Spartan AI is that like I'll engage him or it or whatever, and he'll either kick my ass or
Mhm.
he'll flank me like a fucking genius, or like I'll be engaging him and then the motherfucker will just fucking disappear and I'm just like, where the fuck did he go? And then I get sniped from across the map and I'm like, that that dude left the engagement when he was fighting
Mhm.
me to
Found higher
regroup.
ground. Right.
And then
Regroup, find higher
murder
ground,
me.
and bait you over to him.
Yeah. And they are they're very interesting. Um
Yeah.
Definitely the most human like, and I'm going to say this with a huge asterisk. Best AI of a first person shooting multiplayer part of the game that I've seen ever, I think. Huge asterisk when it works. And
Okay.
I say that because 1 minute you'll be having an experience just like that. And it's like, oh man, I don't even fucking need to play online. This is fantastic.
Mhm.
And then he's like stuck repeatedly picking up a weapon over and over and over and over.
Oh, it's like
Like
what
straight
was
up
it?
broken.
Halo 5's AI.
Like just
They're like, "Hey, I'm down. Give me a revive," and they're humping a box.
Or the best one is the classic video game cliche of they are running in a corner on repeat.
Mhm.
I've seen that a lot.
Yeah, the pathing is just like, nope.
Yeah, or however their AI is designed, because I don't know. Hard to say. It's not
That happened.
oh god, what's that? What's that video game AI out of a box? They used it during the 360 era for like so much shit. It's like
I honestly don't remember.
ghost something. Demonware, I think it was. Demonware was like a out of box. You plug it into your game AI.
Mm.
I believe it's called Demonware. I think that's what it's called. Don't quote me on that, folks. Um, yeah. So Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite is in a really good place. It runs and looks really well on the original Xbox One, which was really cool to see personally. I mean, I like tech stuff like that, so it was really neat to see Daniel's haggard ass creaky Xbox One running the game. The only things that I noticed, other than it was a little framey, and obviously the resolution was not, whatever 4K 120 fucking frames that my Series X is doing.
Right.
I did notice a little bit of pop in, particularly on the big maps. But very strangely, and maybe even logically for technical reasons, it was only on the trees, which was interesting.
Okay.
Which is like, okay, well, all right, I can maybe live with that, I suppose, if that's the only Xbox I've got or whatever, or something like that. Um, then the only other thing to say, oh, the two last things to say, whoever the fuck programmed the Rumble in Halo Infinite, I want to give that dude a hug or a chocolate cake or her, because it is some fucking amazing shit. Like, something that I've never touched a PS5, but I know for a
Mhm.
fact that the Rumble or the haptic device that is in the Nintendo Switch is more advanced than the 4-point Rumble that's in the Xbox series of consoles. And whatever fucking magic that they have done to the coding, like, so it's really interesting. So they do subtle vibrations, like very specifically, like for example, like reloading the assault rifle, and it's like little buzz for the slide back, little buzz for the slap the clip in, and then like
Mhm.
re-putting your hands in. I'm like, that that feels like, even though it's obviously not a real gun, but it's like I would expect that kind of feedback. Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Right.
That fuck yeah, So that feels really good. And then the last thing, because I'll obviously go on about it forever, the plasma grenades, Halo staple, sticky grenades. For the first time ever in the Halo series, and this is just an artistry physics simulation effect. They explode like globules of plasma, and then they like splatter realistically on the walls for like a split second of like fizzing blue goo. And it looks and sounds A, fucking fantastic, and B, like how they're described in the fucking books. Rather than just like, it's a blue ball and it glows blue and then it explodes and it can stick to stuff. Like there's a legitimate like physics globule, like it looks like you fired a paintball at something, but it's like different and made by the game engine every single time, and it just looks like I was just throwing fucking plasma grenades. I was like, this is glorious. I'm gonna paint the wall with plasma grenades. Yeah, so those are my not so quick thoughts on Halo Infinite. It definitely gives me a lot of hope for whatever they've got cooked up for the campaign, which has been super, super duper kept under wraps, apart from that one poor showing of it, almost a year and a half ago when it didn't look so great. But yeah, no, I think I'm very excited. I'm super sad it won't have co-op at launch, which I think is that's a huge miss in my book.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they'll get it, but man, that campaign better fucking like that's what I want. Like I love Halo multiplayer, I love Halo, like, but for me, like I'm a Halo campaign fucking zealot. And like, well, and then the other thing too with the AI.
And again, this was, my wife and I, like that was our date nights where, instead of sitting down and watching some crappy TV, we'd both grab a controller and split screen play the campaigns.
Oh man, I wish my wife would do that.
Right.
Because she likes playing games. She just hates playing with me.
I've seen you play online. I can't say that I blame her. You're a little mean.
Damn. Am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine. Don't be sad about it.
I'm literally a little sad about it.
But no, like, and that was we were hella bummed when obviously when Destiny came out and it wasn't split screen. Like, okay, but at least we could co-op. I ended up buying 2 360s, 2 TVs. It was an investment.
Yeah. I mean,
so when Infinite was announced, we're like, yes, we can get back to our, like, that was our OG play together game.
Yeah. Well, you're either playing it on your own or you're waiting a couple months.
Yeah.
So.
And I may just wait a couple months. I mean, obviously, I have it on Game Pass.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
it's not like I'm
going anywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but no, how good the AI is for multiplayer, since that's infinitely more complex when it has to deal with multiple changing variables than just one person in a typical video game environment, gives me real good hope for how the campaign potentially is shaping up.
Do you think that's what it is?
I don't know. I mean, for all I know, they have totally different AIs, because it's like, the AI you're fighting against is another Spartan, or, they are designed to mimic human stuff, so to speak, including teabagging, by the way. Um, so
I've
I don't know,
heard that was a glitch,
huh?
but I said I've heard that was a glitch.
Yeah, well, it sure happens an awful fucking lot
Right?
for a glitch.
Seems like every time they shoot me, they walk over and dunk on me.
But yeah, no, I'm still Halo Infinite is still my most anticipated game. I mean, it's been my most anticipated game for a long time, but it's really cool to actually be able to play it and say, "Oh, hey, it does exist."
Right.
is obviously the big one. And then for the most part, obviously they're not there yet, and I actually don't know how old this particular build is. I remember the one that they did in August. The build was like 3 months old, so I don't know how old
Right.
the build is for this flight. They didn't. I don't think they said. So we'll see. But yeah, no, there's supposed to be a survey thingy that they're sending all the people who actually got into the flight for all kinds of feedback, and I'm gonna fill that out as thoroughly as I can, because obviously there's some shit that should change. I don't know why the plasma pistol sounds like fucking dog shit. I literally don't, because like a lot of stuff in the game sounds really good, and it's like I don't, some stuff it's like I get that they recorded new sounds and stuff, but it's like I was like, honestly, you must have 20 fucking years of plasma pistol fucking sounds. Just
Just use those.
fucking use that. Like
if you don't have new ones, just use the old ones for now.
yeah, and I get that they're like, oh, they want it to sound cooler and punchier and stuff, and like I said, some stuff they hit. Like I think the new Ghost movement sounds great, but the shooting does not sound great. So I don't know. We'll see. You shall see.
Mm.
All right, I think I probably burnt all the gaming time up. Yeah.
Yeah, it was half hour. We're good.
Okay. The only other thing I was gonna say on that was I've been replaying all the Metroid games, because the first new Metroid game in 20 fucking years, God, I feel old, is coming out next week. That is a wild realization.
Right. And it took 20 years to get a. Is this a sequel? Is this even?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the timeline of Metroid, somewhat complicated. Not as complicated as The Legend of Zelda, but it's a little complicated because like all the Metroid Prime games, which are 3D, like they all happen within like a year of each other, and technically all happen before the Super NES game. And then there are other Metroids where on boot up, they'll literally give you a number, but only at boot up. Like it's not on the box or anything like that. It's like at the opening credits. And the opening credits for Metroid Dread, which comes out October 8th, this Friday, have literally said Metroid 5 in the trailers, which is not the number of Metroid games that there are, because they all are canonically linked, but it's, I don't know, it's a dumb thing. I've watched some YouTubes this week myself just to be like, okay, now hold up. When does this one take place?
Right.
Question mark. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Very interesting that Nintendo is allowing. It's not being made by Nintendo. That's the other thing. Very interesting. This is a proper, full-on Metroid game that is not being made by Nintendo. It's being made by a third-party company, Mercury Steam, which is a Spanish company who did the 3D Castlevania games, Lords of Shadow, in the 360 area.
Okay.
And then have done like little things here and there, I guess, to like survive. But
pretty good pedigree though. You're playing it either way, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm playing it either way, so it doesn't matter. But also, so I've been replaying Metroid Samus Returns on the Nintendo 3DS, which came out in 2017, which doesn't count as a new one because it's a full-on remake of the original Metroid 2 Samus Returns, which was like the Game Boy game, like in the fucking 80s. So it's like a full-on remake of that, and Mercury Stream did that remake. And when I loaded it up, I apparently never beat it, so I restarted that. And so I'm probably really close to beating it because I have all the equipment slots are filled. So in that sense, that game is very good, and it's a very good remake. And so if Nintendo thought that that remake chops was the pedigree, all right, you guys get to do a new one. So I have good hopes on that one. And also very curiously, like there's like a fuck ton of marketing for Metroid Dread. Like there's billboards, there's subway stuff, there's all kinds of shit. There's trailers everywhere on YouTube, like all the time. Like Nintendo's making a huge push for this game. So
It's kind of new.
Well, yeah. And and I think part of that is probably like Nintendo's going, oh yeah, we really haven't actually done one of these in 20 years. We should probably remind the public that we have a thing called Metroid that was way before fucking. Was it before Doom? It might have even been before Doom, now that I think about it.
I want to say so.
It was NES. It was like. Yeah, I think it was before Doom, So yeah, it's looking good. There's been a bunch of preview stuff this week on it, and people are like, yo, it's fucking good. So nice. I'm definitely super duper looking forward to that. And then I've been replaying all the old ones and stuff, because most of them are pretty short. Well, most of them you can beat in like 3 hours.
Right. So you're just playing them just to get the story beats?
No, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and the story beats. I was replaying them just because, I legitimately love the Metroid series.
Okay.
And Metroid is where the very specific genre of Metroidvania came from.
Right.
And, nobody does that particular genre better than Metroid, in my opinion. Like, that's what spawned the genre. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like when I went to Doom Eternal, and it's like, oh yeah, this is a fast-paced fucking shooter.
It's called a Metroidvania, not Metroid as a Batmanvania.
Correct.
Right.
So yeah, and just for me, like I played, a lot of them as a kid and stuff on handheld. They had 2 of the better ones actually on the Game Boy Advance. And so it's been a long time since there's been a new one.
Right.
And if Nintendo's making this push and people are saying it's good, and then this remake that I totally fucking apparently never beat for some reason. I bought it. Like, this is fucking...
Forgot about it.
Yeah, for whatever reason. Is really strong. So it's like, all right, well, maybe a new one of these is, it's time. It's been cooking. Because I watched like an expose on YouTube, and like they've legitimately been Nintendo has been trying to make Metroid Dread, specifically Dread, for a decade. Like it had like so many, like it started as an N64 game, and then it was a Game Boy Advance game, and then it was a DS game, and then it was a 3DS game, and like every time they canceled it because something wasn't right or something, or the technology or something. So we'll see. Either way, I'm excited. I'm sure you'll hear me talk about it. Either yay, best game of the year, or
wow, that was disappointing.
Well, or probably.
I think you're going to enjoy it, whether it's good or bad.
Well, I don't have any reason to believe that it's going to be bad, because
right, I guess it would have to be broken.
Nintendo is not ever in the habit of handing one of like
Right.
the fucking Infinity Gauntlet stones in their collection.
Right.
to
I guess yeah, and the worst thing in your book could be it comes out and it's just broken. Like something doesn't work right or
Yeah, but I doubt that. Like that's not
right.
Nintendo. Nintendo doesn't release broken stuff. It's literally not their policy. Well,
Fair enough. Yeah, it can happen.
yeah.
But yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, looking at you, Smash Brothers Brawl on the Wii, who's was supposed to have online that worked.
Yeah, the only other thing in gaming that I know of right now is everyone's on New World.
Yeah, I've heard that too now that it stopped blowing up people's fucking RTX cards. You heard about that, right? That's
Uh-huh.
fucking
Thankfully,
insane.
I haven't had any one of my friends that had that happen.
Well, that's good. Yeah,
But yeah, the only like I've been watching other people play it because I just haven't downloaded it. And the only claim to fame I have on
is it
that
free? Is that what it is?
no, it is not free.
Oh, but you want to play it?
I want to play it because my half brother did a bunch of the artwork in it, a bunch of the character
No
design.
shit. Also,
Yeah.
first time hearing that you have a half brother. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool.
I usually just refer to him as my brother, but yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, my little brother does character design, and he's been very tight-lipped about
Who the
this
fuck?
until it all came
So
out.
I literally don't know anything about it other than that Amazon made it. Is it
Right.
Is it Amazon Game Studios or is there like another game studio? Like who?
It is Amazon Game Studios.
Okay, where is that even located? Is that here up in Seattle or?
Here in Southern California.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough.
So yeah, he got a commemorative book that actually has some of his artwork on one of the pages. But yeah,
That's
like,
sick.
if you're watching people play it, a bunch of the chieftain type skeletons with the full headdresses
Okay.
on, that
Huh.
that's my brother.
Wow, that's cool.
So I'm heckin' proud of him for being able to like he's been doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff that gets co-opted and you'll see something like an armor piece and it'll have an emblem on it. He goes, yeah, that's I helped design that, but these are all his. So
Yeah,
hella happy for him on that one.
Art is such a underrated thing, I think, in video games. Having dealt with like a couple of people who do art. Actually, Yoel Rotten Jackal, who did the did the Fork rebrand, actually. He redid all the art for I think the Elder Scrolls card game and stuff like that, and stuff like that goes underappreciated. The guy I was trying to get on, who's part of my Starfinder group, sorry dude if I'm getting you in trouble for saying this, I'm not saying your name, but he's actually a texture artist for insert Call of Duty studio here. And he's been working in the gaming industry for like 20 years, and so I'd love to hopefully get him on one day and just pick his brain about like what that's like. I've asked him some of the time in our game sessions and stuff, like like what's that like, and do you love it, and like that's like you're making like dirt and walls look good and stuff. And he was like, yeah, and sometimes like designing something that needs to have a texture on it.
Right. And my brother would tell me similar stories where it's just like he goes, like I wanted to get in here and do some of the landscape, but they gave me the skybox. He was like, I gave him the best skybox I could give him, and it looks beautiful, but I wanted to do landscaping, or I wanted to do architecture, or I wanted to do and it was just a slow grind to finally get to, his baby was character design.
I tell you what, I imagine a future, maybe in VR or something like that. There's a museum, and it's just of the best video game skyboxes. Like I would fucking love that personally. Like, so me and Daniel, we played Halo 3 ODST to completion on our guys' night, and I mean, yeah, Bungie's already known for having some of the best fucking skyboxes in the business, but like I was fucking looking at those and like that shit was 2008. And some of them fucking skyboxes still fucking slap. Man,
Right?
I was like, holy fuck. I'm looking at this shit, you know, and that game is not like of the games in the Master Chief, like that didn't get like a remaster. All it got was a well, it's running in 4K now and 60 frames a second. Like it didn't get like a an AI upscale or anything, and it's fucking Jesus. Those skyboxes are ridiculous. Like I was fucking taking screenshots and shit on them. Fucking. But yeah, no man, like fucking artists and games are so underrated and underappreciated because like um so I again I've been watching a bunch of fucking Metroid documentary stuff. Um and there's one that came out like really recently. Like some dude was on a podcast and he worked at the studio that's owned by Nintendo that did the Metroid Prime games, the 3D Metroid games. And they're out of Texas. They're an American studio actually. And they were talking about how like the first fucking Metroid Prime had 30 people on it. And it that year it won an award for like the best art and art design in gaming or some shit. And I'm like, hold up, if there's fucking 30 people, not fucking all of them are artists. Like that's a lot. Like you know, and I've been replaying them recently, and you know, yeah, they're not, you know, I'm playing them on the Wii U trilogy collection, which is not an HD. It's not, it's maybe barely standard definition for that. It's super blurry, but like the art design is so fucking strong. Like it's like, oh man, like it's such a distinct like look to everything, and everything's so alien. And like I said, I was playing it the other day, and like, you know, they went to the bother of like animating like dumb little fucking swarms of weird alien bugs in one corridor that doesn't appear anywhere else as far as I could tell. And it's like they did that just so that like when you're passing through that area, it's like there's a thing going on that makes the environment feel alive. And it's like that kind of shit is so underrated in video games, in my opinion. Sorry, I got on a tangent. I was trying to defend fucking art people, man. You know. So yeah, art stuff. So yeah, so you want to play New World, and so I don't know anything about it other than I think I saw a CGI trailer for it like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
it
an
looks
MMO,
absolutely
right?
beautiful. Yeah.
Okay.
With a good crafting system.
Okay.
My brother-in-law is pretty happy with it, and he likes crafting. And he knows I don't like heavy crafting games.
Okay. I mean, what do you classify as a heavy crafting game?
What is this? Like 7 Days to Die.
Okay.
Right, where it's just like pick up pebbles to get, you have to mix 27 different items to get concrete. But you can only hold like 50 pounds at a time. So you're going out gathering. Then you're right. It's just grind for the sake of grind. Right. And I just don't like, I don't want, one of the reasons I don't like Ark so much is, land on a beach naked with a stone in your hand and you're going to spend the next 3 months chopping down trees.
I'm not a fan of Ark. I've expressed this multiple times. Ark can go fuck itself. It's not a good game. Yet I know several friends who fucking love it, and I'm like, I'm not gonna join you, dude. I don't care if it's on Game Pass.
Well, most of the people I know that enjoy the game enjoy it because they're on custom servers where they can, you can spawn in a little bit survival.
It's the fucking same for any fucking, it's like Minecraft and any of that shit, like, yeah. All right, well. That's gaming. There's games coming out around the corner.
I'm going through the infinite submenus, and I love the throwback to Red versus Blue. The pink shade is called Lightish Red.
Oh yes. I've met a bunch of those guys, right? Have I told you these stories before?
You've told me some.
Partied with Caboose, and yeah. Good people. Never met Guy who plays Church, who
Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie Burns, who has since left.
Yeah. Since retired, yeah. Well, on permanent hiatus.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, good for them. I mean, they sold their fucking company to Warner Brothers. Like, that's pretty solid.
Right.
Pretty fucking solid. And Red vs. Blue is still going. I actually haven't seen the new season. I am behind.
I haven't either.
I am behind. Okay, should we spin this ring?
Yes.
That was the longest pause. Do you not want me to spin the ring? Be honest.
Oh, go ahead and spin the ring while you do that. I'm going to grab a quick.
Okay. Right, that is. We've landed on life stories as I vamp for a minute or so. Not vamping, trying to clear dead air. Tim doesn't want to edit this later.
I don't want to do what?
What? Don't worry about it.
1 hour, 25 minutes, and 20 seconds. Got it.
Okay, cool. We've landed on life.
I will go back and read the tape.
Yeah. We've landed on life stories.
Okay, cool.
What you got?
I've got pure exhaustion. And yeah, I'm now going on to the third week. How long ago was I up there? 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago?
That was the beginning of September, so it would have been 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so I'm now in my full third week of 11th. Yeah, I just finished the third week of this graveyard shift. This is how bad it is. I don't know what fucking day it is half the time. And work has now dropped off to a crawl in certain respects that half the time they're sending me home early.
I mean,
so I go in at 9.
Good.
It's great. Yeah, it's great, but I don't know if I'm going to work from 9 to 5:30 or 9 to 2:30 or 9 to 1:30 or 9 to yeah. Like last night it was 9 to I think we got out of there at 12:30.
I gotcha.
Which is great, but now I can't, like, my sleep's all messed up. I got home last night at 12:30, so I went to sleep, and then I woke up at I want to say 4 a.m. when one of the kids came into bed, and then I woke up again at 7, then I woke up again at 11. So yeah, I don't know what day it is half the time.
That sucks, man. Yeah, I was wondering.
And then
sometimes
and then I can't go and do anything
during the afternoon.
Right.
I was like, I know we've talked about it already, but still, what goes through my mind immediately is like, man, I hope I didn't wake him up.
Yeah, and no, and again, I silence everything when I'm laying down. If I'm answering, it means I'm awake.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, trying to get anything done during the day has been near impossible because I don't know when I'm going to be awake. I don't know when I'm going to need a nap. I feel like an old man, right? And shaking my fist at a cloud. How dare you? I need.
Bro, I wish my week's been like that. Like, I have not been sleeping well this entire fucking week. Drugs ain't working. Booze ain't working. Getting relaxed isn't working. Drinking less caffeine. Drinking caffeine earlier in the day and making sure I don't have anything past like fucking 2 or whatever the fuck.
Well, see, and that's the other bitch is like. Yeah, when I've been going to work, it's like, all right, I know I could be up till 5:30. I'll grab a cup of coffee, or I'll grab a Monster or Rockstar before I start my shift.
Yeah,
and that's all fine and good until I get off at 12:30, and now I'm wide awake.
You're like, fuck, I could be sleeping.
Right?
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have drank this Rockstar, I would go home and I'd sleep right away.
Yeah.
So yeah,
100%.
Like, it's even like at this like. I've been keeping up with my gaming by I have a phone cradle and doing a lot of stuff on the Xbox app on my phone.
Oh yeah, you've been telling me about that.
Right, and it's working well enough. I actually logged into my Xbox the other day just to make sure it was updated, and
Nice.
saw
Yep.
2 nastygram messages from people I was playing trials with on Monday that was like, "Bruh, what's up with your aim?" And it's like I was playing on my phone over a cell network in an alley, bruh.
I mean, the fact that you can
So
play it at all with any level of
right,
tolerability, especially in a multiplayer thing, like
yeah,
that's
and
the
it was. I
future,
mean, it was
baby.
good enough to. Yeah, it was good enough to get the bounties done,
Does
which
your
is all I really wanted to
does your
do.
phone have 5G?
It does
Oh,
not.
okay, so you're only got LTE 4G. Okay,
Hmm.
just making sure. Is it good speed down there, or
It's decent. Hold on. Let me do a quick speed test.
yeah?
Run off the
I'd
Wi-Fi
I'd
because
give
that's
you
gonna lie
whatever
to
my
me.
cell is, but I don't have a bar in my fucking neighborhood unless I go down my fucking driveway for whatever reason.
Yeah, we're T-Mobile here.
Okay.
Looks like we're 25 down,
Okay, that's good.
and it should be about that up.
Yeah, they're usually about the same on cell networks because they handle more up than they do down.
Or I'm currently getting 2 up.
Oof. Well, you know.
I think it's better at work. I think I want to say I'm like 110, 110 at work.
Yeah, man. Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, I mean it's decent. And again, like do the non PvP stuff quite well.
Mm.
But yeah, and again, this is what I did when things got kind of slow. There's 3 guys on my crew.
Mhm.
So we've been, if one person finishes their stuff, basically they're just to make sure someone doesn't, die in the alley of a heart attack or blow themselves up,
Mhm.
only to be found at 5 o'clock in the morning by the next shift. Um, so yeah, when I'm done with my stuff, I've been just, pop my phone in the mount and go play some games and until we're all done, and then we all clock out and go home.
So you got a little clippy clamp thing to put on a controller?
Yeah, little OtterBox one. Actually, pretty damn good.
Oh, that's surprising because
I'm very very happy with that.
I'm not a fan of OtterBox.
I I would agree, and they were at I wanted to say GCX. They were at PAX Prime.
Yeah,
Notice I named it right.
good job.
Um,
Good job.
they had a booth there, and it was like,
Yep.
all right, let me see this because I've seen a bunch of Xbox clamp on phone mount things, and one they barely fit my Note
Mm,
without a case.
right.
They don't fit my Note with a case, and I'm like, well, that's a big bummer. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
it'll expand up to so many inches. Like, okay, yes, you say this, but it barely hangs on. Right?
Yeah.
It's a whole ordeal. Or they're just flimsy because the sheer weight of a Note 10, they're not designed for that.
Sure.
So yeah, having a booth there, I was like, all right, let me see what this thing does. It's OtterBox. They tend to be pretty stout. Put the phone in there. They already had a controller. I'm like, this thing actually locks in pretty good. And I'm like, okay, so what is it, like $80?
Right.
It's $29.99.
Okay, that's not bad.
Right? That was not bad at all. And then there was a PAX discount of 15%.
Oh, damn. OtterBox must be
Right?
getting desperate.
Must be. Because yeah, that's usually I'm used to if you're gonna get the quote unquote good
Right.
case, you're gonna spend 60, 70, $80 on it.
Right.
Or you're just gonna get a plastic shell with OtterBox's name imprinted in it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm exceptionally happy with it. But yeah, and that's like
Do you
that's how I've been keeping up with
so
stuff.
the clamps onto the phone, are you just using your Xbox controller then?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. And you've got a
And then it does pop
what
off,
kind of
which is
Xbox
another nice
controller?
thing. I have one from a Series S.
Okay, so you have the Bluetooth version. So it'd be the version
Yes,
2
it has to be the Bluetooth version.
Xbox One controller.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Yeah, Gen 1 will not work with a
Yeah,
phone.
I'm aware because Gen 1 only has the proprietary wireless,
Yep.
whereas the Gen 2 has both. And
Yes.
then I believe the Elites have.
The OG Elites were still Gen 1.
Oh, really?
The new Elites do. Yep.
Okay.
because I was hoping to use that, and it was like, nope, it still only had the proprietary wireless in it,
Yeah, and then
which was a bummer because I have an old OG Elite that is now just collecting dust.
oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it got hammered by the kids. Like the left bumper
Oof.
was barely hanging on
Ooh.
by a thread,
Ooh. No.
as
Ooh.
they're wont to do. Yeah.
No. Meanwhile, the old Series S and X's out here got proprietary and two-band Bluetooth, which is very nice, as I believe I've explained before. So yeah, so my life topics, I got like I said, I did a guys' night with Daniel last night. Have not done a guys' night in
Was the occasion just because guys' night?
No, the occasion was so this night was actually supposed to be girls' night, but then some of the girls canceled or something, so then it just ended up being my wife and Daniel's life, and they did like face masks or some shit and hung out. So it wasn't
Okay.
necessarily like a girls' night, but they went and hung out. And so he was like, "This is some bullshit. You get girls' night, and I don't get guys' night. This is some fucking ass."
Right.
You know. And so then we we basically went to his wife and was like, "Okay, so when can he have it?"
Right.
And she was like, "Well, if we're doing it Saturday," because their thing wasn't quite canceled yet at the time when we planned ours. She was like, "Well, you can do it Friday night." I was like, "Okay, we're doing it Friday night." And he just came over to my house and shot the shit. We played Halo Infinite and we played Halo ODST and talked about some bands and music and shit that he wanted to talk about. And was a good time.
Nice.
Also, complete side night that goes back to video games. 100% surprised that Halo Infinite, once we got into a party, sound synced. So his TV was in syncopatico with my surround sound system, which was great.
Huh.
Was
Okay.
not expecting that in the slightest.
Right.
And he's a musician as well, so he was like, "Bruh, that's good engineering." So that was actually pretty useful because sometimes I could hear some shit from his TV, and he'd always hear shit from my sound system because we were all in this room that we're in now. So yeah, we did that, and it was good because usually it's just always online these days. Which I got nothing against that, but there's definitely a little bit more chutzpah to doing it somewhat like an old LAN party, I guess, even though we were using internet.
Right.
So yeah, so that was good. Which is terrible. I should have saved that after, because my next thing was going to be about women's birth control and how fucked it is.
Oh yeah.
So I bring it up because Jessica's been going through some shit lately. Because she switched her thing to something. I don't know. I don't pretend to know a ton about that stuff, but we were going someplace with friends last weekend.
So what is she currently on?
Birth control of some kind.
Okay. You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Insert science pill name here.
Okay.
And whatever she was on was bad because it caused like 3 periods to happen, and then she got freaked out about it and did a pregnancy test, and then it was all fine. Then her period randomly ended, and she's like, "This is all fucked. I hate all of this shit." I was like, I don't know what to say. But we went and hung out with some friends last weekend, and then we came back, and she drove both times. 4 days later, she tells me, as she's driving home from work asking what we're going to do for dinner, nonchalantly, she's like, I think my pills are fucked up and I'm going to talk to a doctor and get changed to something else. I was like, yeah, all the stuff with the period. And then she's like, oh, yeah, that stuff was weird. But when I was driving to and fro,
I mean, and this is why I'm getting, this is why I'm getting chopped sometime this next year, because we got to pull the goalie. Those things got to come out after a certain amount of time.
Hey, wife.
I was trying to open the door so quiet.
Yeah, that door squeaks.
Aw.
I'm sorry.
What the fuck are you doing awake?
Not that we don't mind hearing
got out of the
you. Why are
shower?
you awake?
Well, apropos
Hi, wifey.
apropos timing, I'm talking about you.
Really? Oh.
Well,
Yeah, I'm talking.
not specifically.
talk
I
about
mean,
how fucked up
specifically
the
you,
pill
but not specifically. Yeah.
This version of the pill, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Cool.
Which one? Which one is it? Now that you have her here.
Nate wants to know specifically which version of the pill was the fucked up one. Speak up. We're rolling.
I have to get my phone to tell you exactly what it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you go get it?
You can. Yeah.
It's not.
I still don't know
that
why you're up,
I just,
though.
if you knew it off the top of your
I
head.
got home late.
Why the fuck did you get home late? I told you to come home at 9.
I didn't even look at it.
Bitch. What are you doing?
Hey, none of that. None of that.
So, you don't understand, Nate. This is the thing between us.
No, I understand.
So she started calling me bitch long before I started doing it, and now it's a term of endearment. And oftentimes, like, we'll be in the middle of like bed, like half asleep, like, bitch, go to sleep. And then she'll be like, bitch, you go to sleep. And we'll just go back and forth. Or, of course, the famous, I was defending our bitch choice and how often we call each other bitch.
Oh.
And that you started it because I didn't used to say that stuff, and then you started calling me bitch all the time. And now we use it as a term of endearment.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, the pill, I was on a progesterone only. The one
Progesterone,
hormone
okay.
only.
He says progesterone.
Yeah, but the specific one that they put me on was norethindrone.
Yeah. Hey, norethindrone. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty.
And you're on the other one now, and everything's happy again.
I'm on my original prescription, yeah.
And everything's happy again.
Well, I haven't gotten my pills yet.
So when you get them, everything will be happy again.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Give you a kiss now.
Yeah, I'll give you a kiss because you're still awake. I don't know what you should have been in bed like 2 hours ago.
No,
Yes,
it's Saturday. I don't need to go to bed that early.
but
3 hours ago would have been like 8.
I didn't say 3 hours. I said 2.
Whatever.
Or did I say 3? What did I say, Nate?
I don't remember.
Awesome. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna.
I'm not
edit
involved in this.
So whatever it is that I said is correct.
I love you.
Good night, honey. I love you. And here we go.
I was just whipping around on a mongoose.
Oh, you're an infinite?
Yeah.
Ooh. Nice. Nice. What do you think? What are your thoughts instantly?
I'm horrible at this. Yeah, no, it's very, very nice.
Yeah, yeah. How's it look on your old Xbox?
You know what? I'm absolutely fine with the way
Yeah,
it
it
looks.
looks great, doesn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
Phil Spencer was not wrong about the fact that he said they were treating the Xbox One as a
My entire team.
what?
My entire team. Hold on, I'm gonna take a picture of this real quick.
Are you playing with?
You were saying about the wacky AI.
Oh, you're playing with bots. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to put this in the
Yeah,
Discord.
yeah, yeah, I don't know where you're sending it. I have so many things open right now.
I'm putting it in the Discord because I took it on my
Okay,
phone.
fair enough.
Okay, if I can actually get
You
to
dumping
Discord,
it in
when I open it.
video games? You dumping it in Halo? What are you dumping it in?
I'm gonna put it in the video games. Yeah.
Alright. I'm going there. I'm waiting it eagerly. Oh fuck, that's a
Hold
thing
on.
we missed.
What's
Netflix
that?
bought a video game studio.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Not only that, they bought Night School, who makes the Oxenfree Long Road to Nowhere, Long Way to Nowhere, something like that. As well, what is happening? Why are those Spartans in each other? Like
that's all they're
so,
doing, and they're
yeah.
literally running into each other.
Yeah, but how great does that map look, right? Yeah, fucking art designs. On point on Infinite.
All right, I'm going to log out of that for now.
I mean, it's all good. By all means, keep fucking around. It's not like you can. It's not like it's gonna kick you out with the bots or anything.
Oh. Yeah, no, birth control is a mother, and we're on IUD until pulling the goalie, because it's, you know, if we pull it out, we got to put another one back in. And so at that point, I'm hoping to have my snip done.
Yeah.
And we won't have to worry about it.
Well, you know, you can always talk to my buddy Brock about that, because he's been snipped for years now. After the old kid out of the blue incident.
Right. Like, oh, yeah. I don't want that to happen again. So, yeah, and we're done after 2.
Sure.
Like that's it. I'm 46. I don't need another.
Yeah, I don't want any more than 2. I mean, we'll see how 1 goes, you know.
Yeah.
So, but that's 2022, Tim. We're not going to worry about that with 2021, Tim. So we'll see. All right, I'm spinning this ring, getting to maybe a happier topic here. All right, we already landed on video games before, so we're spinning it again because the ring is not a perfect fucking system. Get off my back, world. All right, technology, Earth. I don't have a ton here, actually.
I don't either.
I have ordered an iPhone 13 Pro. It is coming
Yay.
sometime between now and November. Which is about right, I guess.
Yeah.
I did, however, get I got a case ordered for it already, and it has arrived. It's in my hand right now. I decided to stick with the same kind of case that I've got for my phone now. So I actually have a Razer case on my iPhone XS with that thermoprene registered trademark cooling technology. That's basically just fucking thread impregnated thermal paste.
Okay.
Because I use my phone a lot for gaming, and I use it a lot for work. And my XS does overheat, especially in the summer, which shouldn't be a problem with the new iPhone 13, since it's like fucking 5 generations ahead from this.
Right.
But it is interesting because I ended up going with the 13 Pro, not the Pro Max. I think I've stated that before. But actually having the case, I now see generally the dimensions of what I'm getting, since obviously I don't have an iPhone 13 in my hand. It's interesting because it's, you know, it's ever so slightly larger. It's definitely a little bit taller than I expected. The screen size overall goes up almost a full inch. But
full inch diagonal?
I believe so. Yeah.
But is it maintaining the same aspect ratio, or is it going to that weird?
I don't know. I think judging by the fact that it is taller than I thought it would be, I think it's maintaining the same aspect ratio, which would make sense for compatibility purposes, so developers don't have to fucking configure for another fucking DPI and screen resolution,
or you know, a random notch that, you know, They don't seem to want to keep consistent.
I mean, this is the first time the notch has changed, so
Right.
I
It's
don't know
like,
what to tell you on that
yeah,
one.
don't tell the developers anything that have already worked around the existing notch.
Yeah, still
Hopefully it's not a big deal.
can't get a fucking battery percentage up there. Some fucking horse shit, in my opinion.
Right.
Um,
Oh, but it's over there on your slider menu. It's like, okay, slide all the way to the left. Yeah, there's my battery percentage.
yeah. So you're on an iPhone now for work. Did they have you upgrade it to the iOS 15?
I don't believe so.
Okay, cool.
Don't.
So it's a weird one this year.
Okay.
Because Apple for a while now, to avoid the whole, oh, it's new and it's shiny, but it's also broken thing, which had been common with them for many, many, many years. They do these long public betas from about June till September, which have been really helpful lately. And usually when they release, they're super solid. And iOS 15 has a lot of new stuff in it, but it is an evolution of 14. Like, it's not so much rewriting the book this time around.
Okay.
And it was weird. So the first 2 weeks, fantastic. Loved almost everything about it. There's a couple of questionable things. Like where the search bar was really fucking weird on Safari. Like it was at the bottom of the fucking thing, which I guess technically makes more sense. But I've been using it with the search bar at the fucking top of the goddamn screen for 15 plus fucking years, you know? Thankfully, they give you the option to change it, which I obviously did. But yeah, no, everything was hunky dory. And then, boy, this week, the bugs are rearing their fucking heads. Fucking.
Really now?
Yeah. Like, so it's like randomly connecting to my Alexa downstairs. Don't know what that's about. It's having problems.
They're conspiring.
I don't like that at all. And I also don't like the way you said that in like a mischievous little mustache twirly bullshit. That's not okay, Nate. Yeah, it's just having weird problems. It's rebooted randomly a couple of times. Yeah. But like on the other end of that, like some stuff that's like normal is like really wonky now. But on the other end of that, it's like a game that I play, Black Desert, that for sure pushes the GPU on this phone to its limit. Somehow running cooler than ever at max settings. I don't know what that's about. Maybe that has to do with maybe something they changed in their graphics API or something, because it is no longer overheating my phone, which is...
It's a great thing.
I mean, yeah, it is. I'm like...
It's just weird. It's something that would cook.
Well, and it's also weird because
in a previous release,
that app, it hasn't had an update, as far as I know, like for the new OS necessarily. So I'm like, so was it an error in something that Apple made with the graphics API, or was it an error with something that they coded that then was somehow fixed by whatever? I don't know. It's an odd bonus for the fact that other things are breaking. Other things are breaking, like the fact that my favorite one, deleting stuff, and it's not deleting.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like it deleted stuff.
Oh, no. It's not doing that. That'd be super awful. I think you'd hear about that one on the news.
I mean, yes,
I did hear there was a small selection of people who like photos were disappearing from people's libraries, but it was like actually the phone, like the cloud was still fine and they still existed in the cloud, but it wasn't like pulling it correctly. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. Like there's a very strange patch, iOS 15.0.1 that came out Wednesday, actually, and I was like, oh, good. But holy shit, that was the hardest time I've had updating an iPhone in a long time. Failed to update like 6 times, and then when it did, it gave me the weirdest message I've ever seen on an iPhone. It said iOS needs to temporarily remove some applications from storage. We will put these apps back after the update is finished. And I was like, I have.
Is this some like PlayStation file swap size
I was
nonsense?
like, what the fucking F? I have never seen anything like that before on iOS. Like, so it's fucking weird. Also, that patch, usually the 0.1s are super tiny, like bug fixes. It was a fucking 500 megabyte fucking patch. So I'm like, did you fuck up this year, Apple? Is this what this is? Is this what this is? You know, like, despite the fact of my ass licking rim jobness of Apple zealotry that I always display in the show, you know,
You can't be perfect all the time.
They're not infallible.
Sometimes you gotta take an L.
Yeah, you know.
But yeah, when your L is, you know, your phone looking at you, go asking you if you want to play a game of chess or global thermonuclear warfare, that might be a big problem.
You know, I wonder how many people in our audience literally don't know what you're talking about right now. It's referencing.
Well, it is a whopper.
It's referencing an old movie. It's called War Games. Look it up, kids. So yeah, iOS 15, real odd. Especially that it was really great the first week and then somehow worse the following week. I don't know what
with a minor but what do they call that? A third digit patch?
No, this was before the patch.
Oh.
That's why it's weird. It's like, oh, this is great.
Like the wheels just fell off on it?
Yeah, I don't know, something. Something. I don't know. It's weird.
All right, well, I'll keep an eye on that if it shows up on my phone. I will just not do it because I know our IT department is not.
Yeah, no, I'd stay on 14 for now, personally.
If I have a choice.
Yes.
Like we have. I know everything that we have on the phone because it is a corporate phone is passed through a third party app. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see. Hopefully they get the word that it might not be ready for prime time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll get there, and probably by end of October, it'll have 15.1, which is usually their huge stability patch. It's just really weird, like that there's inconsistently working on certain areas. It's just really really bizarre. And honestly, it's been since Wednesday, so I don't even know if that minor patch fixed a bunch of that stuff yet necessarily, because it's been so intermittent in when things do break down randomly. So yeah, we'll see on that. There's a very curious breakdown of the A15 Bionic chip, because a lot of people were like, well, the new chip in this year's iPhones, not legitimately, like, specs wise, like quantum leap faster than it normally is. And Apple's been on a ridiculous tear of a roadmap lately. But people who are good at math have figured out what the dealio is with the 15. Number one, it's apparently the greatest cell phone chip at battery management so far. They did some comparative tests with the latest Samsung and Google phones, and they're just like, yeah, nah, this thing is really fucking good at power management. People were getting like fucking 18 hours out of the 13 Pro and Pro Max.
Right.
And they're like, what the fuck? Because the battery size.
Right. How is this possible?
Like the battery size isn't bigger. And everybody knows the battery tech is the slowest fucking racehorse there is.
Right.
So
battery's not bigger. It's incrementally faster.
What do you mean?
But it's outlet.
Oh, sorry.
You said it's not like a huge jump in not megahertz or gigahertz at this point.
Yeah, its technical on spec speed is not a jump. of
Right.
any 2x or 1x measure from the prior year's chip. However, what the fuck?
I don't know.
Something just fell over behind me that sounded like a raccoon.
There's that trash panda. And I do know where you live.
I mean, yes, but you haven't actually been to my house. So,
This is true.
what the fuck just
Or so you
the fuck
think.
just fell over there? Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. There's the cord to my gaming headset is over on a box, and it was bundled up around the headset, and it decided to unfurl and flip itself down
At just that
into the
moment.
fan. Okay, I'm tracking now. But man, that freaked the fuck out of me. I like heard this loud noise behind me, and if I know Jessica's gone to bed, and I'm on the second floor, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I heard it from here, but probably not as loud as you. It sounded like someone threw a pen cap.
Yeah, I gotcha. So anyway, the secret to the A15 is they have actually taken, and they've verified this on some fancy X-ray chip foundry shit. They've taken the efficiency cores out of the M1 chip that's in the new Mac, and they've slapped them with last year's main processor of the A15. And then this year it has a brand new GPU, a 4 to 5 core design, depending on which model you get. And that is paying apparently dividends in its battery life. And the analysis on stuff with, the latest Samsung stuff, which historically, like, they have legendary battery life and literal huge batteries in their phones. And it's trouncing them in all the tests, according to independent tech reviewers and stuff, like doing routine daily use tests on all of them. And they're like, this is the first time I've done a battery test on a phone, and the phone that I was using to do the timer, I had to plug in. Like, this is
fair
so
enough.
they're like, if you want battery life, you need to go with an iPhone. There's nothing else to say. Or at least a 13 model, to be specific.
I mean, heck, the 12 I have, I don't think has ever been under 80% at this point.
Well, sure. And you're also only using it for basic functions too. So it's aces for probably several days on end. So that's decoding the mystery of the A15 Bionic, which a lot of people are super stoked about, because if that's what's in the iPhone, one can only imagine
what's coming to
what's
iPad.
coming in the next Mac, specifically a laptop, because like they've already got pretty good battery life now with the new chip. So yeah, we're probably, maybe hypothetically, looking at like a first literal 24-hour laptop, perhaps.
Could you imagine if they actually, allowed handheld game consoles to use these? You imagine that chip in a Switch or a Switch type device?
Oh, of course.
Like,
specifically because the greatest comparison that I always see, as someone who does love his Switch, but knows it's on really old first generation NVIDIA Tegra with like a paltry, I think they've only got a 4-core ARM chip in there of some kind. And yeah, the Switch has got more RAM than the average iPhone, or at least the old iPhones when it came out. Because for the longest time, especially when Apple Arcade came out, I would always compare the games graphically to what like the Switch counterpart would be. And, for the last several years now, Apple's, there's been analysis and stuff on this, like even since my 10S, which if it had thermal cooling, was pound for pound as powerful as your OG Xbox One. So if it had thermal cooling and if it had as much RAM as the Xbox, it was every bit as capable of doing everything graphically that Xbox that you have is capable of. And now we're many generations from that. So it's like, yeah, once again, literally, I go back to this every fucking time. No reason for this piss poor Apple TV update that they did back in May that has the same chip as this XS, when you've got these fucking beefcake chips kicking ass, and then the new 13's got fucking 5-core GPU. Are you fucking shitting me right now?
If you've only got 500 in your hand, are you going to make 500 phones or 400 phones on 100 Apple TVs?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. It could totally have been a chip thing and be like, all right, well, this is the new Apple TV because we've got these chips.
I'm not even saying a shortage, just yield right now. You can only make so many of them, and it's like, the Apple TV, sure, it's, it was a crap update, but it still does pretty well for what it needs to do.
Yeah, I mean, but, there's also a certain, I don't know, Turing test or Apex or Moore's law of greatness that you can achieve for a 4K set-top box.
Sure.
And they already did it 4 years ago with the Apple TV that I have sitting behind me. As far as a media device, like, it still crushes anything, that's on a console as far as an app is concerned. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'll stop bitching about it because I'll keep bitching about it because it's silly to me that they've released this old ass fucking chipset in something that is one of their premier platforms for their Apple Arcade games. It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, I don't know that they've ever been real serious about the Apple Arcade.
I don't know. Have you seen some of the games on Apple Arcade, my guy?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna send you some stuff because they are big boy full console games.
Really?
Yeah. So Oceanhorn 2 is a Unreal Engine 4. Looks gorgeous.
It got to stay.
Ha 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 ha.
After the whole epic debacle.
This was several years ago when this game came out.
Serious. Okay. I know. That's why I'm saying. I'm surprised it got to stay.
Yeah, Unreal Engine did. Fortnite did not.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah, Oceanhorn 2 is a gorgeous game. It actually recently came out to the rest of the consoles. It's a gorgeous Zelda-ish type game.
Oceanhorn? Or are you posting these somewhere?
Yeah, I'll just fucking... God, hang on, I have my booze situated first, not towards the keyboard.
Okay. You can post them later if you'd like.
So let's see. Here we go.
Clickety clackety clickety.
Yep, on this old ass fucking keyboard. I don't want a trailer. I just want. Let's just do images. How about that? Okay, we'll do this. And we'll do
Oceanhorn 2 Knight of the Lost Realm? Or a Monster of Uncharted Seas?
Knights of the Lost Realm. So that's a full-blown console game.
Very anime-ish.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it looks Zelda-y to me, because, I mean, that's what type of game it is.
Okay. I was going to say more Genshin, but yeah, it's right in between the two.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the very first one. Very blue hair.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of that, the exact same thing, there is also Genshin Impact, which is...
Yeah, Genshin is another one of those games. It's going to be like Skyrim. It's like, I have a smart fridge. Does it play Genshin? It does.
Probably. Let's see what else is on. We got Samurai Jack, which is the same game as on consoles. We've got there's some Capcom shit. Hang on, I have an actual. I am on an M1 Mac. I've got an actual arcade tab somewhere in here. Let's see, what have we got here? Let's see, we got a full racing game, Asphalt 8, made by Gameloft, which is owned by Ubisoft.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of the Asphalt series.
It's not bad. Again, this is where I played The Pathless, which was a PS5 launch title. And that's a full fucking console game and is gorgeous. Last Campfire console game as well. Oh, here we go. It's under a tab called Gorgeous Graphics. There we go. That's nice. Well, that is a short fucking list. Fuck you, Apple Arcade curation thing. Okay, there's other games on here. Let's see. They just can't actually, very surprisingly, I haven't had a chance to check it out. There's a fucking Castlevania game that came out for the fucking thing. There's Fantasian, which is the RPG I was talking about a couple months ago, which is made by the original creator of Final Fantasy. That's gorgeous. Let's see what else is on here. We've got... What else do we got here?
Some noisy neighbors there.
Sure do. And that's fucking several streets away. So that's some bullshit.
Fast and Furious going on over there.
100%. Let's see if I'm gonna touch this thing. What the fuck is that? Detonation Racing? What is that? That's new. Oh, that looks pretty good graphically. Oh.
Can you view the iPhone App Store on a computer?
Only on an M1 Mac.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Same code base, remember? Oh,
Wow,
Detonation Racing. It looks like a oh my god. It looks like somebody finally ripped off one of my favorite racing games ever that only had one game.
Oh.
Yeah. So there's a game made by Disney, of all people, whom I interviewed the developer at PAX, called Split Second. And it was a Burnout type racing game that had basically power-ups, but the power-ups were blowing up or creating like crazy changes in the track as you're driving. You know, from like a fucking like airplane crashing into a fucking building and you're outrunning like a building. It's an amazing game. It's really good. But there's a game here on Apple Arcade called Detonation Racing that looks like a slightly cartoonier take on that. Like it's the same thing. I'm seeing like construction wrecking balls flying through as people are racing around and shit. It's really good. Anyway, why the fuck did we get off on fucking graphics for whatever reason on Apple Arcade? Because you're saying
the new chip not like absolutely cooking playing graphic intensive game.
Right.
And then me saying, or you griping about Apple TV and me saying no market for it, you saying au contraire.
Sure, because
Apple Arcade.
The market is every Apple device.
That's how we got on there.
But, yeah. I don't know. They keep just coming now, stealth for launching. Like I said, there's a Castlevania game on there, and I'm a Castlevania fan, and it's like, didn't hear about it on IGN, didn't hear about anything, was casually perusing the store on my Apple TV, and I'm like, what the fuck?
And is it made by the same studio, or is it?
Well, hard to say, because App Store apps don't necessarily have to say the same thing as like a video game in terms of their,
right, but you would think that if someone was putting a Castlevania game from a studio that did Castlevania. What?
Hang on. Oh shit. I think I might have accidentally recorded my audio somehow on a loop because I'm looking at my feed recording over the stuff of what I already recorded an hour and 4 minutes in.
Okay. Well, I do have a track.
I know, but I don't sound as good on yours. Can I fix this? Is the question. I'm like afraid to press pause or stop as I'm watching it record over.
Yeah. We're at 2 hours 18 on my clock, so
Fuck. Oh no. Okay, well, let's hang on, let me cut everything. What the Yeah. I got 3 things to talk about. So I'm a big fan of Michael J. Straczynski's Babylon 5.
that's what that B5 is. Gotcha.
And it has been officially announced that not only is there a Babylon 5 reboot reimagining coming, but that J. Michael Straczynski is fucking doing it. The Mad Lad. The original creator. The caveat to that
Okay.
is that it is going to be a CW show.
Oh no. Really?
So the other caveat to that would be he's already said on Twitter, yes, he knows what that means. Yes, he said don't be worried. They approached him and he wouldn't do it if he wasn't sure about it.
Okay.
So this man has like 100 gazillion fucking TV production writing credits to his name. So if he says it, I'm just gonna trust in the man.
Sure. And the absolute worst case scenario is you get a CW-fied Babylon 5, and it might not be that bad.
Yeah. The only other thing I could say about this is actually like the CW's The 100 show, which is pretty hardcore sci-fi. Not a bad show, not a perfect show, not a bad show. So that's what I've got to say about that. But either way, I'm excited about it. He's already announced some core changes to the series, which, as a huge fan who's rewatching the show again since it came out on HBO Max with Jessica, are like, I don't know about those changes, my guy. But you're also the guy,
right?
So I'm just gonna have to go with it.
It'd be like asking for if Joss Whedon was redoing Firefly.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. It'd be exactly like that. Or if Roddenberry was like, all right, we're gonna do Star Trek the original series, but by the way, Spock's not in it. Or something fucking crazy like that.
Sure.
Those are the feelings that I feel.
It's Bobby the Vampire Slayer. There we go.
Yeah. Well, there we go. So yeah, Babylon 5 reboot coming to CW.
Okay.
Most likely next fall. And it's really, really, really happening. He said apparently he's been working on it the last 5 months already. So it's fucking happening.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious what the production quality is. I mean, it's going to be on CW, so.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Babylon 5 had a shoestring budget back in the day in the 90s. And famously, they were so cheap that they didn't even get to shoot on Warner Brothers lot. They bought like an old hot tub making factory just outside of Hollywood, and that's where they shot the show. You know, and it had a pretty terrific cast. It was one of the first shows to use CGI heavily in the production. Had a really good score. We'll see the original composer's even still alive, or if maybe he can get somebody new or something. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to say the least. And he said his intention is very much to do a retelling, not necessarily like we're shot for shot remaking it, because he said who the hell wants to do something like that? That's boring.
Right.
Which is also fair, since he is the original creator who spent, I mean, the Mad Lad wrote 5 seasons of the show before the show fucking started. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic, and I'm sure I'll watch it either way. So we'll see. Babylon 5 reboot, CW, next fall. probably almost 100% sure because the CW needs shows.
Sure.
I suppose best case, it's amazing, and then it ends up getting pulled by Big Daddy Warner Brothers over to HBO Max. That's probably the best case if it's like something like that. I don't know.
Right.
We'll see. So Foundation, Apple TV Plus's most expensive TV show by far, is out. I've seen the first 2 episodes.
And
my disclaimer is I've not read the book, so I have no fucking idea if it's
fair,
on point, correct, fucking it up, or whatever.
You know what? And that might actually be a benefit because and this is one of those, I have a hard time when people go, well, the book was better. Separate yourself from the book. Is the movie still good? Well, the book was better. Okay, that's not what I asked. Right? Ready Player One.
Exactly.
The book was better. The movie was still awesome. World War Z. The book was better. The movie was garbage. So, you know, I take when someone says I haven't read the book. I don't care if you've read the book or not. Is the movie good, or is the show good?
Well, I'm sure we'll be having that same conversation again at the end of October when Dune comes out.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So Foundation. Amazing score by Bear McCree, my boy. Set design. I mean, looks expensive.
Okay.
Looks fucking expensive. In a good way. Like, it looks like really sci-fi. Like, the CGI is like super good. The, I don't know, compositing, I guess, is probably being used a lot. The acting is interesting.
Okay.
I say that because it's like, well, so it's interesting. So I'm comparing this to The Expanse, which is probably its only contemporary in the fact that clearly Foundation is a very hard sci-fi. And what I mean by that, especially as an author who's written a sci-fi book, what I mean by hard sci-fi is we're using Newtonian physics and everything is, you know, being portrayed as scientifically accurate as hypothetically possible.
Right.
Which is what The Expanse does. And ironically, also because the dude who's the main dude of the psychohistory thing, where he's predicting the future and the fall of this empire, was also in The Expanse. Also ironically. And something The Expanse did was they distinguished its different regions of people from the Belters to Earth to Mars to Spacers by having very distinct, almost hard to hear sometimes in the show, like dialects.
Yeah.
They do not do that in Foundation, which I found a little odd because it opened with this chick that's in this like water planet place, but they like hate technology or some shit, but she's like somehow learned to be really good at math or something. Does that sound like the book to you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And like she's all done up like she's like some like native or some shit of this planet, but just like everybody's just kind of generically British. So I'm like, okay, I guess.
You almost have to do a little bit of your own suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, and like I understand why, because it's also a complaint of The Expanse that some of their dialogues are so strong. Like it's like, okay, I'm sure the acting is amazing, but I can't fucking understand what they're saying.
Right.
But put the subtitles on. I know this complaint because I've made this complaint about The Expanse.
Right.
So yeah, the acting's good.
Well, I mean, one thing I liked about The Expanse was that, you know, there were even physical traits between the Belters, you know, the Martians and Earth.
My brain is having a complete crash because I did not realize you've seen The Expanse, or at least a season or so.
At least a season or so.
Okay, cool. Then
Yeah.
you know exactly what I'm talking about. Wow. How have we not talked about this?
I don't know.
God damn it, Nate. Okay, cool.
But yeah.
Well, there you go. The reason I'm like hesitant to be like, this show's fucking amazing, is I'm 2 episodes in, going on 3, and I have no fucking idea what I'm watching.
Much like the book.
Like it's space. There's been action. Some people have died. There's been shooting. There's some king emperor dudes who are clones of each other or something, and they have fast than light travel, but they got to be suspended for it. But there's like a thing that they got to make to prevent a future apocalypse. But maybe people aren't who they said they are. I don't fucking know.
And this might just be, I have big fears for Dune coming out having the same problem, where you just don't have enough time to tell the story the right way.
I mean, for me as a person, I feel I will be immune to whether it is or isn't told correctly, because I've read the books. Well, not all the books. And I've watched the movies and miniseries and stuff. So I feel I have a pretty good grasp on what it should be. So I'll know if it veers. But by all accounts, the Dune movie follows the book to a fault. Or at least the new one does.
What's the runtime of the movie, though?
I think it's long.
Right? And so you have to do that,
Yeah.
If you were to try to cram the Dune story into a 2-hour movie, you would not be able to do it justice. I don't care how good you are.
Well, sure. And you know that this Dune movie, they're doing 2 movies for the first book.
Sure.
Right? You know that's a thing.
That better be.
Okay, cool. That is a thing.
Like, it better be. Because again, I don't.
A thing.
Yeah, I don't think you could do it right without playing it. But I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time with, okay, I saw the first movie, I don't get it. You have to see the second one.
Yeah, we'll see. Jessica bought the Dune book, and I have the miniseries here. But she's waiting on all of that because she wants to go in fresh for the movie. And I'm like, okay. We will have a very long conversation after we've seen the movie. Because she's a reader. She reads lots of books, like all the time. And I was like, yeah, you should probably read the Dune book. It's great.
Right. But yeah, it looks like Foundation has 10 episodes in this first season, which that's good. Like that's a little promising.
I mean,
I would like to see it. I'd like to see it be more like 15 or 16.
It's hard to say. Like, Apple varies depending on a show. Sometimes it's an 8-episode thing. Sometimes it's 7. Sometimes it's 15. Sometimes, like, it literally depends on the show.
Right. And depending on how far, like, if they're doing a half a book, or half, part of the story in the first 10, and then hoping for the, stretch it out over 2 more seasons, great. Then 10 is fine.
Well, and I have no idea.
Right.
Since I don't have any preconceived notions about Foundation, other than it's Asimov.
Right. And it is very Asimov.
Yeah, definitely the show feels Asimov-y, if that's a verb. So yeah, I like it. I'm obviously going to keep watching it because it's sci-fi, and I don't know what's going on, so I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I did get that 3-month trial when I got the company phone, and it's like between this and Ted Lasso.
Have you been watching Ted Lasso?
No, because I don't have an Apple TV subscription.
I'm confused by your statement about the fact that you have 3 months from your phone.
I haven't activated it yet.
Oh.
Because I don't want to activate it and be like, I'm not going to be able to watch TV for 2 weeks. Crap. right? I want to be able to
Yeah.
sit and binge.
Well, Ted Lasso's good all the fucking way through.
Yeah,
It is a fucking phenomenal gem of a show.
I have yet to hear from anyone that I value their opinion say anything bad about the show.
Have you heard anyone say anything bad about the show?
Yes.
Oh, really? I'm very curious.
I ignore them. Like
Oh,
it's such a bad show, and I go, I'm just moving on, because again, I'm not even gonna entertain your thought, because I don't know who you are, and you could be internet troll or Reddit.
I see. Fair enough. Yeah, no, Ted Lasso's good, and Ted Lasso continues to be good, which is quite remarkable.
Yes.
And I know it's won like fucking 22 goddamn awards or some fucking crazy amount.
It should probably keep winning more.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So yeah, when you've got the time, definitely do Ted Lasso, 100%. On that stuff. Probably a good one to watch with your wife too.
Yeah, she wants to watch it too.
Yeah.
So.
And I'd say you could watch it in front of your kiddies because it's just real over people, but there is, especially from the British folks, a copious amount of swearing.
Yeah, and right now my oldest is at that age.
Yeah, so
I'm waiting for her to turn around and say some of the things that she shouldn't be saying in public.
Excellent.
I have heard her scream from the bedroom before, "I am not an asshole."
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not even going to pry it to see who's saying that one.
Oh, I'm sure it's between myself, my wife, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and my mother-in-law. I'm sure the word has come up.
I see.
So.
Well, fair enough.
It happens.
Well, have you been watching or reading anything entertaining?
I have been. Well, I'm caught up on What If. I'm.
Oh yeah, how about that last episode? Huh?
Right.
Holy fuck sticks!
I was not expecting. I was expecting one-offs, not this entire thing to have had an actual story arc.
Well, I mean, I feel like, yeah, What Ifs is designed to suck you into thinking it's one-offs. But at the same time, the thing at the front of the fucking movie is Marvel Studios. Or the thing at the front of the show is Marvel Studios.
Right.
So, and I have a suspicion that a lot of this stuff is maybe going to pay off dividends.
Oh, yeah. In
Doctor
future
Strange
shows
movie.
and movies? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Very much so now. I again was expecting this to be kind of a, here's a side thing we're doing, just to keep you entertained and just to ponder what if while we're ramping up everything else. And it's like, yeah, the last episode, the last scene is just like, hey.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking wild. That's for sure. What if Ultron?
What if Ultron won? Yeah.
Yeah. Just so you know, that episode was 1,000% more accurate to the actual Age of Ultron comic.
That's what I've heard.
Age of Ultron movie.
Yeah. Not having a firm stake in everything. I was just like, what the? Okay, no, that's few podcasts I listen to that cover it have all said, yeah, this actually makes sense now. So.
Good stuff. Excited to see next week's episode where they assemble
the finale, right?
The Guardians of the Multiverse, which is going to be all the fucking heroes who lived in the last season, I guess.
Or from multi-dimensions, pull them at, if you survived in this dimension, we pull you in, and like, how is that going to work out?
I don't know, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to say with this multiverse stuff.
Yep. So yeah, I've been keeping up with that, and then I'm watching my garbage TV, my Masked Singer, and then sports.
Okay. Fair enough.
Has been my TV
Fair enough.
watching. What was the other show? Hold on. There was another show I was oh, yeah, The Rookie. Just got a new episode.
Oh. Okay.
So
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion.
I have not dived into that show despite the fact that I'm a Nathan Fillion fanboy.
Yeah.
I hear good things about it from people who are not cops.
Right.
I hear the opposite from people who are cops.
Yeah, especially the last season. The last season got real narrative driven, current event narrative driven,
Oh.
in
Okay.
in a very ham-fisted way. And
Yeah.
this most recent one seems to have broken back into actual storytelling.
Yeah, I was telling you about that on the last podcast I edited because I'm still behind a podcast. God damn it.
I just got current on ours, so
Yeah. Sorry about all that.
it's all good.
Yeah, because I was talking about that on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Right, yeah.
We've now finished Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They had a rocky final season, but they stuck the landing. And the final episode was loving and touching and absolutely fucking hilarious.
Good.
So kudos to them. Rest of the season,
Yeah. And that's kind of how I felt like it, and it was one of those, you kind of had to do it even though you didn't have to do it.
Sure.
And I get it. And yeah, so when I was scrolling through on my Hulu and it's like, oh, continue watching, and I went, it's a new episode. And yeah, sure enough, and they started off real hard and fast, killed off a character, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm back. So yeah, it got real interesting real fast, and not a whole lot of humor.
Sure.
So, and like good plot foundations for the rest of the season. So
That's good.
yeah, it pulled me back in.
Cool. So me and the wife went off earlier today, and we went and saw Venom: Let There Be Carnage for 3 reasons.
Because Venom.
No.
No?
I was not a fan of the first film. As someone who's literally wearing a Spider-Man shirt right now.
Well, I know you're a fan of the Spider-Verse. So
yes, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. And I do actually legitimately like Carnage. So there's that. But no, the primary motivation was because the sheer amount of me dodging internet spoilers.
oh yeah, apparently that there's a in credit scene.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't think I can fucking avoid this before
Right.
fucking Sunday.
Yeah,
So
you're too invested. Yeah, you probably wouldn't avoid you. It's like me trying to avoid a Destiny spoiler. Like I've just been resigned to at this point. Like if I'm not on the thing right away, I'm getting spoiled on it. But yeah, I can avoid a lot of Marvel stuff because I'm not that invested in it.
Sure. So I mean, I guess first off of the rip, the movie's better than the first one. Movie has the briskest runtime of fucking 90 minutes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Which is weird because going into it I knew it was brisk. And it's brisk, but it also feels kind of long in a weird way. I don't know.
It's dense is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, it's definitely dense. That's for sure. It's not perfect. I don't think it has redeemed any of the mistakes the first movie made. It leaned more into them, if that was fucking possible, because apparently it is. Yeah, let's see. There's a lot of plot holes. There's a lot of hold up moments. But primarily, the good things were there's a lot more actual Venom in the film, which was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The symbiote battle scenes. Did you see the first film?
I did not.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know what they are, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Fucking symbiote amiibo tentacle things
Right.
from space.
The
in
black,
the first
the
film,
black goo of doom.
Correct. In the first film, when the symbiotes battled, it was just fucking messy CGI everywhere.
Right.
And it was just like, I know there's symbiotes, and I know there's CGI happening. I don't know what the fuck is happening.
There's no structure here. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. This one doesn't have that, thank God. Despite the fact that it's more symbiote on symbiote action. Action's really good, really clear cut, really cool, really brutal. Carnage is, I think, as well as portrayed a comic book character for the first time on screen as is possible.
Okay.
With a PG-13 rating. And I say that because Carnage is basically a fucking R-rated villain in the Marvel comics, who's a serial killer who just fucking murders and cuts people up like all the fucking time.
Right. How did Woody do in the role?
Huh? Woody did great. Okay. I had no problem with Woody. And we knew he was going to be in that role because he was the end credits teaser in the first film.
Right. But actually seeing him do the role, not just teased in it. Like, he did well?
Yeah, I think he did really well. Jessica's complaint was, since Woody has played a serial killer before, he could have gone a little harder into the wackadoo-ness of a serial killer.
Okay.
He was a little tame.
A little more Zombieland when he should have been.
No, definitely not Zombieland.
Okay.
Like he was not the comic relief. He was the, oh, that dude's fucking crazy and he's gonna fucking kill you. Which is what it should be, but it wasn't crazy enough.
Wasn't natural born killer.
It wasn't crazy enough from my perspective of how Carnage is in the comics, and for Jessica, who didn't know anything about Carnage other than she saw the 90s cartoon like everybody else. She thought that, especially knowing Woody is a great actor, that he could have done more proper serial killer, like weird ticks and inflections and stuff, you know? And because like there was like a debate, you know, she was like, why does he fucking say haikus sometimes? And I was like, well, that's like a comic book thing, so that's fine.
Right.
And then she's like, that's weird. And I'm like, okay, well,
you're not wrong.
That's what he does. So whatever.
You're not wrong. It is weird, but that's character.
Yeah. So yeah, overall it was better. There was still a lot of what the fuck moments, both from continuity and as a hardcore comic book person. I was just like, all right, hold up. That would never happen. All right, this scene's fucking stupid.
Okay.
For example, and this is not a spoiler because this scene is fucking online. So people who are fans of Venom and symbiotes and Spider-Man stuff, everybody knows that the symbiote's weakness is fire and sonic disruptions.
Okay.
So what does fucking Venom do in this movie? He goes to a goddamn EDM rave. Hold the fuck up. And he's totally fine, by the way.
Okay.
Like, what? And, you know, and then that, of course, goes right to the argument of, like, me and Jessica's like, well, I thought the scene was fine and had a good point. I was like, I agree with the point.
Right.
But they thoroughly established...
It's a hard deviation from the comic.
In both the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and the first Venom film, and even fucking earlier in this film when a dude's cell phone goes off.
Right.
And it disrupts them. Earlier in the same film. So walking into a fucking EDM rave
Probably
is
not the best call.
like the dumbest.
Yeah.
Like I was upset. Like I arm crossed and went, no, this is not how it's supposed to be. In the film. But yeah. If you're going to see symbiote on symbiote action, and the closest thing you're going to get to a PG-13 tentacle porn movie, this is definitely it. Carnage was good as he could be for PG-13, I believe.
Okay.
And then not going into spoilers, but pointing out to anybody who's listening, fucking son of a bitch, that end credits. Fucking fuck. Yeah, it was a big one. It was a real big swing. I literally don't know how to say anything about it
Without spoiling it.
Suggesting.
Yeah. Then don't.
Because even if I suggested,
yeah, then don't. See for yourself.
Things to do, I would just, yeah.
See for yourself, or if you really have to see it, want to see it. Just Googling "Let There Be Carnage" was presented with 5 different, results for end credit scene. So
yeah, it's all everyone's talking about.
Yeah,
because people are losing their shit over it, and with good reason. It was good. Let's
we'll leave it at that. Yes.
And I literally can't say anything. I literally have no conceivable way of talking about it with the way the internet is, and with the way people talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I have literally no way of saying other than I can tell you that there are 2 end credits. That's all I can tell you.
Okay.
And one is substantially more mind-blowing than the other. So that's what I'll say about Let There Be Carnage. If you are a Venom fan or a Carnage fan or just a Spider-Man fan, yeah, you should go see the movie. That's definitely where I landed on it, being the Spider-Man fan that I am. And in comparison to the first one, I didn't walk out of the film going, that was terrible. And the original Venom movie has warmed on me over the years. I've watched it a handful of times with friends who hadn't seen it, and then they're like, I want to see the Venom movie. And I was like, are you sure you do though? But yeah. No. So that's what I got. That's all the topics. We hit all the things.
Time to go get some sleep.
Yeah. Alrighty, man. I am gonna let you go.
Yep.
Feel free to pop those files in the upload with your gig upload.
Yeah. Yes. Now that it's not hard to do it, I can actually put them up there and not have to leave the computer on overnight.
Yeah. Isn't that such a silly thing? It's like, even like an old computer, it's like, oh, because the internet's shit, this is gonna take 3 days.
Right.
But then suddenly your internet's good and it's like, oh, this takes like 4 seconds.
Yeah. I finally was like, oh, look, I've got actual downloads now. Let me go ahead and update all the apps on my Xbox that I haven't updated because I wasn't going to sit here and not be able to play for 3 days.
Don't you have auto updates on your Xbox? Did they not work?
Nope, I don't, because there were days it would take down my internet.
Weird.
Because, something would want to update, and now nothing else in the house will work while it's doing it.
Oh, that's weird. But didn't you say your wife plays on an Xbox?
Yes.
Well, what does she do?
She keeps hers updated.
So what's your fucking problem?
Could you imagine, like, it? And this was before we even got 200 meg down. When we had 100 meg down, if both Xboxes decided we're going to do all of our updates right now,
I mean, I guess, but the like, so here's the thing, like, that breaks my reality on that.
Hmm?
So, as a family that has Xboxes and PS4s,
Mm-hmm.
the PS4 updating process is so mind-numbingly shittier, and the Xbox is so mind-numbingly simpler and
Mhm.
easier and less network breaking. Just set your thing to auto update, man.
Yeah, that's fine. And like I said, it works. It works well for the wives. For the most part, I've been turning mine off so it just doesn't. It when I need to, I pop in the one game I'm gonna play, quick update, bada bing,
That's
bada
true.
boom, and I'm playing. But yeah, to have everything just sit there and auto update on its own when I'm barely playing things, just wasn't.
Counterpoint to that is you now have better internet, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Which
That's
I went and
part of the
updated
counterpoint.
everything.
Fair enough. All right, this has been another episode of the Freaking Year Podcast.
Yeah,
We tried to keep it under 3 hours.
Nope,
I don't
not gonna
think
happen.
I don't think we did.
Yeah, the second take is at 2 hours. No, actually, with the breaks and everything, we're at 2 hours 57 minutes.
Okay, fair enough. Well, all right. Hopefully, this isn't a fucking editing nightmare for me because of my fuck ups in this episode. If not, I'll be defaulting to Nate's, and I will just sound shittier and take it on the chin. Which I think is actually what happened, like the last 30 minutes of the last episode I edited. But that was the nightmare. Your power kept going out episode.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we lost what 30 minutes of that episode that were just gone to time. Because that was when I when I dialed in on my phone.
I was looking everywhere for it too, and I couldn't even find it in my shit.
Yeah,
which was weird. So
whatever. Power went out, and I signed in from my phone, and apparently Skype supposedly didn't miss a beat, and it. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
So it goes. Alrighty, sir.
Alrighty, man.
Have a good morning.
Pleasure as always. What?
Have a good morning.
Okay. You have a good end to your morning? What do you even say to somebody who's going to bed at like 5 in the morning?
Right. You don't.
have a good end to your morning into sleep? I don't know. Alrighty, man. Catch you later.
Yep.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast. You can find our podcast at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Feel free to email us at dynamicworks@mac.com.
Armado, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood, and you're listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast.
The Citadel, Arrival, is the first installment in a series of epic science fiction short stories reminiscent of the Pulp Fiction style. It's a fast-paced story that will take you through twists and turns that you will not expect, until they are thrust upon you with all the force, excitement, and chaos of a plasma cannon blast. The story follows Katarl, a nobody cog in the working wheels of a futuristic society run completely by Megacorp, a corporation that carefully runs and manages the lives of the people living under its sphere of power. On one of Katarl's few and far between days off from work, an outing he had hoped would be fun and relaxing turns into an explosive adventure that drags him kicking and screaming into situations and challenges that will make him question every aspect of his life. Watch this colorful tapestry unfurl as Katarl and his newfound allies find their way through this classic, yet oddly surprising tale of good and evil, where nothing is quite what it appears to be. That's The Citadel, Arrival, by author Tim K. Trotter, available right now on Amazon Kindle Store and iTunes iBookstore for only $2.99.